Tom Brady leads the Patriots into his 19th season as quarterback. The 2018 preseason opener is next.
Live from New England, it's Patriots football. With Rob Ninkovich, Scott Zolak, and Bob Sosi. Live tonight from Gillette Stadium, football is back.
The Patriots take the field and football returns to Foxborough. Tonight from Gillette Stadium, it's the Patriots and the Washington Redskins in the 2018 preseason opener. And hi everybody, it is great to have you with us. Bob Sosi alongside Scott Zolak. Buddy, great to be back together again for our 6th season in the Pats booth, albeit with a new adventure tonight.
All right, we were on 98.5, the Sports Hub, calling games on the radio. We're excited to be on TV. Your mother said you had a great face for radio. God bless her soul, but we're ready to go. Don't forget, we will be back game 1 of the regular season, but 5 years with you. We called 5 straight AFC title games and also mixed in 3 Super Bowls. And hopefully this is the start of another one that will end up in Atlanta.
Despite all that success, still a lot of questions as we explore the storylines for 2018. We'll begin on offense at wide receiver.
Yeah, and that's a big question mark right now. Hey, we all know Chris Hogan is the main guy on the other side. And I say that because Julian Edelman will not be there for the first 4 games serving a suspension. Somebody else has to step up. Maybe it's Philip Dorsett. Maybe it's Kenny Britt. He's got to get out of the tub. Maybe it's Cordero Patterson. Or a young kid. Could be Braxton Berrios. We don't know that yet. But to get them the ball, you got to keep the quarterback upright. Gone is Matt Light, a Patriot Hall of Famer, and gone is Nate Solder, his other backside tackle. He's down with the New York Giants. Steps in is Trent Brown, 6'8", 365-pound guy. He is a mammoth human being. If he can move his feet, we're going to be okay. On the front side, Marcus Cannon got nicked up. Inside's Ladry and Waddle. You also have the Wynn kid that they drafted out of Georgia. So there's a little bit of guys they can mix in there, but bottom line, we know the health of the quarterback is pertinent for this team's success.
We've got a quarterback in the booth, and we've got a guy on the sideline who got to the quarterback with regularity in his Patriots career. 9 years ago, Rob Ninkovich came to New England to earn a job and made a lasting impression as a 2-time Super Bowl champion. And he's with us all preseason long to give us his insights from a field level view.
Look at number 50.
Great to have you with us.
Hey guys, I'm down here on the field. I'm pumped up. 2018 season. I think the defense is going to make a heck of a mark in the NFL. And you know why? I think because 54 is back, Hightower. He's going to go out there. He's going to be the captain. He's going to get everybody right on that defense, and they're going to be flying around making plays. So I think 2018, you watch, they're going to make a lot of plays. They're going to make a lot of noise. And watch out for 91 Wise. He's pretty good too.
Nick, look forward to hearing from you all night long. It's Brady and the Patriots opposite the Washington Redskins. The preseason opener is next.
Patriots preseason football is brought to you by Toyota, the official vehicle of the Patriots and Toyota's official website for deals. Buyatoyota.com. Patriots preseason football is brought to you by Bank of America, the official bank of the New England Patriots, and by Putnam Investments. Putnam and the Patriots, proud partners committed to an active game plan.
And we welcome you back to Foxborough after a lot of rain yesterday and overnight. Mother Nature cooperating somewhat. It's hot, it's humid, but at least the humidity down to 65% with an 80-degree game time temperature as we turn the attention now to Zoe's Gatorade keys to the game.
Thank you very much, Bob, or should I call you Jim Cantori for that outstanding weather update? It is humid here at Foxborough. What has to happen? Well, we got to take a look at this new defensive front. Rob Ninkovich sort of talked about that in his open. They're athletic with guys like Rivers and Wise. I can't wait to see Flowers mixed on the outside with Claiborne. The offensive line, we're not looking to gain 150 yards tonight or throw for 300. I want to see one-on-one battles. Can the left guard pull? Can one guy get up on that next linebacker? Who steps up at corner opposite Stephon Gilmore? No Malcolm Butler. I think right now it's Eric Rowe's job to lose, but can somebody else get in the mix? And that's a big one as we see the head coach down there on the sideline. And Bob, we've been around it. We've been around the practices. Some have called the practices light, not a ton of contact, but I think he's pretty set with the team where it is as far as conditioning and installation.
Well, Zoe, it's the preseason opener, but the Patriots are in midseason form. They won the coin toss. They deferred. So Stephen Gostkowski back for season number 13 for him. Swings that right leg, and we are underway in Foxborough. And of course, new kickoff rule, which we'll explore a bit later on. But first, let's get to the Patriots defense. And the starting defensive lineup is brought to you by Gillette. Derek Rivers back from a torn ACL. We heard Rob Ninkovich in the open talk about Dietrich Wise Jr., his second-year classmate, had a solid rookie season. On that second-level linebacker, the quarterback of the defense, Dante Hightower, returns to Kyle Van Noy, and on the back end, Stephon Gilmore will man the left spot with Deron Harmon getting a start at safety in place of Captain Devin McCourty. So the Redskins are at work after the touchback. Washington with Colt McCoy, the starter at QB, on the game.
Wow, great job by Dante Hightower on the right side of this defensive line, playing a Sam position. When you say Sam position, that means he's the rush end. And have this guy back in that front seven, you forget about guys like Lawrence Guy, Malcolm Brown. They have depth, so much more depth compared to this time last year when it was the Coney Ely experiment.
Mention McCoy, quarterback, of course. He's been with the Redskins for several seasons now with Alex Smith to be the starter after Washington acquired him via trade from Kansas City. Rob Kelly joins McCoy out of the gun in the backfield. And a quick release to the far sideline. The catch is made in front of Gilmore by Maurice Harris.
Yeah, you see Hightower, he's on the edge. Receiver gets a clean release, and this is basic zone coverage here, folks. 10-yard depth outside by Stephon Gilmore. Gilmore's had a fantastic camp and does a good job not lowering the helmet, something that we're going to have to watch as all these games progress. A lot of new rules in the National Football League this year.
Harris stepped out shy of the first down marker, so it's 3rd and short. The Patriots, of course, trying to be stouter against the run. Van Noy and Hightower try to fill from linebacker, and into the mix, Patrick Chung, who's been a tackling machine for this team in his second go-round with the Pats. Hard-nosed safety, making the stop for the Patriots.
Fantastic job.
Washington does pick up the first down, but not by much.
They pick it up, but it's, are we executing? And that's what you want to do on defense. They're so good at the safety position that McCourty and Chung can get up around that line of scrimmage at the point of contact.
Look, last year the Patriots run defense 31st in the NFL in average yard per carry for the opposition. With the bootleg off the play fake, and McCoy throws to the sideline, and again targets Harris for a first down.
You know, McCoy does a really good play fake to the opposite side, to his left. It sucks Hightower down inside, and Gilmore just gets basically turned around. Looked like it was man-to-man coverage. Receiver does a good job getting up the stem. That's 2 completions on Stephon Gilmore here tonight.
Stephon Gilmore joined the Patriots last year, the free agent acquisition from the Buffalo Bills. He'd been a Pro Bowler in 2016, got off to a bit of a shaky start in his first season as a Pat, but had a solid finish. And McCoy again underneath the defense with another completion, this one to Robert Davis. Malcolm Brown drops back for the Patriots, along with Eric Rowe.
Yeah, Patriots starting to mix and match some of their secondary here. Eric Rowe kicked inside. He became the nickel guy with Ralph Webb on the outside, number 22.
We're going to see a young player like Jamal Wiltz in the secondary, out there with some of the regulars like Gilmore and Rowe. Really movement on the line. Pats get back with a second down snap to McCoy. And another give off the right side. Good play by Elandon Roberts. Rob Ninkovich, of course, played defensive end and outside linebacker so well for the Pats through the years. And Rob, what are we going to look for early on in terms of personnel for this Patriots defense?
Yeah, I mean, right now these guys, I mean, they're knocking the rust off a little bit. It's the first series of a new season. It's a preseason game. They're kind of just getting the hang of each other. And this is when you build the team. This is when you build the defense. You get to know the guy next to you, and you can feel each other out. So, you know, right now, 3rd and short, 3, I'd watch like some type of crossing route, some type of pick route.
McCoy again with the quick hitter, but closing in a hurry. Patrick Chung with a stop on the tight end, Jeremy Sprinkle. And Bob mentioned it earlier, Patrick Chung has been such a durable player for this team. Pound for pound, maybe as tough as anybody in this league.
Yeah, Rob, I'm going to go back to your comments on Hightower. I know we've alluded to him already, but just to see Dante up on that strong side, and right there, he's right next to Claiborne. I mean, you can mix and match him with these big guys outside, which is going to create problems for ends and tackles trying to block them, correct?
We're going to see Tress Way, veteran punter for the Redskins, with Riley McCarron on the spot for the Patriots, the former Houston Texan out of Iowa, and he signals for the fair catch as the Patriots will have their first possession looming, though there is a flag on the play. A referee in his 5th year in the NFL, Brad Allen. Allen came to the NFL out of the ACC, one of the rarities in the NFL in that he joined the league immediately as a referee.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 59. That penalty is half the distance to the goal from the end of the kick. First down, timeout.
So Marquise Flowers is flagged on the penalty. We'll see Brian Hoyer on the other side as the Patriots take over on offense. Foxborough right next door to Patriot Place. A little shopping and dining on the way to the game, perhaps. The TB12 Sports Performance Institute. Tom Brady sitting this one out for the Patriots as he chats with longtime teammate and captain Matthew Slater. Let's get to the starting offense for the Pats, brought to you by Gillette. With Brian Hoyer in the huddle for the Patriots in his second stint here in New England. There's the line that will try to protect him, including his former teammate with the 49ers, Big Trent Brown.
Look how big he is.
6'8", 380 pounds.
Looks like one of those old Dallas Cowboy linemen in the Nate Newton era.
And you look at the wide receiver corps for the first time since the second game of preseason 2017. Julian Edelman, a wide receiver, blocking the way for Mike Gillislee on the rush up the middle. So Brian Hoyer started for 5 teams. He's been with 7 overall in his NFL career, and it all began here in 2009 as an undrafted free agent out of Michigan State. Very content, said naturally he'd love to play, but he's very happy, father of 2 young children, to be back in New England by Tom Brady's side under Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels. And again with a single back, Hoyer now looking to throw. Dumps it off underneath, and the catch is made by Jacob Hollister, who's had a good summer into his second year. He stopped short of the 15.
Yeah, Hollister's a guy to keep an eye on here, guys, at that number 2 tight end position. Now, I know you have Allen there, and he's number 83. But at the price tag of $5.5 million, and if Hollister can step up and make some plays in the passing game and give you something opposite Gronkowski, it's going to be big for this kid.
Edelman motioning to the top side of the screen. Hoyer out of the gun with Dorsett to his right. The guy who's had a good summer. And he's looking that way for a long ball. Dorsett can't make the play with the throw that sails into the Redskins sideline.
Yeah, it's a tough one right there for Brian because Dorsett's going up the boundary. And when you're going up the boundary and you don't leave yourself any room on the outside, there's no spacing for the quarterback to fade you to the out of bounds. So that's just a tough catch for Dorsett to make. And even if the ball was thrown even a little bit better, I don't think he would have been in.
Ryan Allen, back in 2013, made the Patriots as an undrafted free agent, unseating Zoltan Mesko. Now he's in a competition with Corey Bojorquez. The veteran Allen punts it in the direction of Greg Stroman. Got a chance to return. Straight up the middle past the 40, beyond the 45, and he is leveled by James Devlin with the Redskins to start their second possession of this preseason opener at midfield. No score from Gillette. And roughly 6 minutes into the preseason opener, no score between the Patriots and Redskins as we take a look at our player spotlight, brought to you by Putnam Investments, proud partners of the New England Patriots. And a young man trying to make this team is a rookie free agent, cornerback J.C. Jackson, who began his career at Florida and wound up at Maryland. And now we go down to the Bob's Discount Furniture Studios to 2 guys who've watched him all summer long, Andy Hart and Paul Perillo. Andy, your thoughts on J.C. Jackson?
Bob, I think he's a really interesting guy as an undrafted rookie. We all know the history here in New England that every year Bill Belichick keeps at least one. We know the history of a guy like Malcolm Butler, who went from undrafted rookie to Super Bowl hero. And I look at J.C. Jackson, and he's been given opportunities to get high-level reps throughout the spring and then again in training camp this summer. And I think he's been competitive. I think he's been around the ball a lot, made a lot of plays on the ball, and I think he's going to be given every opportunity to make this team and have a role with this team.
Paul, 14 straight years the Patriots have had an undrafted free agent make the roster. Last year, 4 of them broke preseason on the opening day roster. Second down and 10 for McCoy and company. And they give up the middle with Danny Shelton into the fray for the Patriots. Paul, picking up on Andy's thoughts, we've seen Duke Dawson, another rookie, though a drafted player, once Jackson's teammate at Florida, get a lot of reps in this 2018 summer for the Pats.
Yeah, you know, Duke Dawson's a guy who's been out there a lot of high-level reps, Bob. You're absolutely right. He's been the slot corner pretty much from day one of the spring. I've been a little bit more impressed. I can't believe Andy didn't give us his nickname for J.C. Jackson. He likes to call him Just Cover. He's a guy that really flashed right from the spring. Jackson, Dawson, there's a lot of young defensive backs. Ryan Lewis I would throw into that mix. A lot of young guys I want to watch tonight, see if they can take the practice field to the game field.
Looking for another third down conversion on the crossing route. McCoy finding his man, Davis, who scoots out of bounds as he got away from Gilmore, and the Redskins have a 1st and 10 coming up inside the Patriot 25.
Yeah, an all 10 up right there. One single high safety, and that is straight out man coverage. He beats Gilmore right across his face. And once he completes the catch, Gilmore really doesn't close there. You know, he gets up on Eric Rowe, and Rowe's the one that gets him out of bounds. It's a nice job by McCoy, just knocking it down underneath.
McCoy has come into Foxborough before with the Skins as a backup to Kirk Cousins, of course. Now in his 4th season with Washington, his 3rd team overall. The give up the middle. The Patriots again try to be stouter against the run under Brian Flores, though not the defensive coordinator in title, still the linebackers coach, but calling the defense on the sideline. Here's a guy who's grown up in the organization, Rob Ninkovich. You know him well. Tell us about Brian Flores.
Yeah, well, in 2009 when I came here, B-Flow, I call him B-Flow, he was the assistant special team coach, and I mean he's been with me since day one, and he knows everything from special teams, offense, defense. So he sees the game from the top down. He sees everything. So I think he's going to be pretty good this year. You know, obviously this is his first game, and it's going to take a little time to get used to calling the plays also.
Rob, you see a different intensity in practice. It seems like I don't. Not to say they're running around more, but it seems like there's a little heightened sense of urgency.
I mean, Flo is an intense guy. Now, he'll come after you. So I think that's how he likes his defense. He likes guys that are flying around, aggressive, and making plays. So I'm sure he's going to try and get these guys fired up here and make a stop in the red zone.
All right, we got a flag.
Well, the Redskins looking for a timeout. Brad Allen throws the flag. McCoy was signaling for a timeout. And we'll hear from our referee for a second time tonight.
12 players on the offense in the formation. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Brian Flores, a linebacker at Boston College before he joined the Patriots coaching staff. And Rob, Dante Hightower said early on in camp that a lot of the younger guys are getting this defense maybe faster than in the past. Perhaps things are simplified. What is it about Brian Flores' approach that allows him to relate to the young guys especially?
Well, I mean, he played at a high level. I mean, when you play D1 football, that's a high level. So I think he understands the game. He knows that defense has to be fast. And let's see what they do right here. 3rd and 11.
So from the 25, stack receivers to the right, 2 to the left. McCoy feeling some heat from Claiborne, rolls out and buys time and finds his open man who gets away from Van Noy into the end zone. Byron Marshall and the Redskins strike first here in Foxborough.
This is not good against the twos, and this is the twos of the Redskins, meaning this isn't Alex Smith out there. It's just a little twist up front. He breaks containment and Van Noy, and this is the #1 concern with the linebacker group. When you get the nickel and you play multiple offensive sets, who's the linebacker that's going to chase guys coming out of the backfield? Teams like Kansas City that have the quick backs. Hey, we're going to see Houston week 1, regular season. They've got to figure out which linebackers can run, which linebackers can trail, because I know it's a new year, but that looks like the same old defense from last year.
Scored by Byron Marshall again into the end zone, former Philadelphia Eagle. with the point after try by Hopkins, giving the Redskins a 7-0 advantage. A running back beats a linebacker in coverage. Welcome back to Foxborough, where fans here are enjoying this summer night at Gillette Stadium, right on the stadium grounds in the heart of Patriot Place. It's a brand new CBS Sporting Club.
Look at that.
Gastro Sports Pub. It's the quintessential destination before, during, and after the game. It has stadium-style seating, an outdoor patio with a bar zone,
look at wings,
and an array of mouth-watering dishes.
Look at that, right outside the stadium, right by the bridge. Nice little spot. A lot of fans standing up top, right underneath the jumbotron. Did a lot of updates in there. Condensed the bottom part of the building. Now it's a new CBS Sporting Club. Do you have a membership there? You need to be a member. I mean, it's a club.
Well, I would think, given our ties to the Pats and the broadcast, we've got to have it in there.
I'll never forget, I was doing post-game up there, and it was the year Matt Castle finished 11-5, and they knew they weren't going to the playoffs. And we're sitting in the back where we used to do the post-game up there. Our post-game now is at Splitsville. And Bill Belichick comes walking in with Linda and gets a booth in the back, just a regular old guy, comes over and gives a big hug, and he goes, that was a hell of a year we had. You lose your quarterback in the manner in which they did 7 minutes into that season. And, yeah, I think that's probably the first and last time Bill Belichick went upstairs there.
Belichick just saw the Redskins go 50 yards in 6 plays with a 25-yard touchdown pass to Marshall. Now Riley McCarron on the return. Cuts it back, and McCarron is tripped up across the 25. And a young man who last year the Patriots picked up after he was let go by Houston. New England saw him during joint practices with the Texans.
All right, we got Edelman in the huddle here. Nice. It's good to see Jules back. Kid works hard. He really does. To not even about the knee and the rehab, just his natural work ethic.
As our friend Tom Curran titled the book, Relentless. And he's lined up here in the slot inside of Hogan. Hoyer on the give, and Gillislee trying to bounce back after a disappointing first season for the Patriots is stuffed after a 1-yard pickup.
Now you see Gillislee gets, it's a little ISO, so you got the lead back going up inside. It's going to be interesting to see how Brad Allen and these referees, and it was nice enough of Brad Allen to come into our production meeting and chat with him and go over all the new rules. So Gillislee gets it at the top of the eye there, gets to the 4-yard mark, then ducks down. Is that
Hoyer? The veteran takes the shotgun snap. Well protected. Does good coverage by the Redskins, and the pocket collapses.
It's great coverage right there.
Matt Ioannidis leading Washington to the quarterback.
Hey, you take a look at the blocking here. Is there communication? Good, good, good. You could have got a chip on the inside on that right side to help Adrian Waddle out. Hoyer's eyes are straight downfield. He's checking left, and what he's doing, he's looking for Edelman. Then he realizes, okay, this guy just broke containment. So now I got to slide. There's nowhere to slide.
Now 3rd and long for Hoyer and company. Down the middle he goes for Dorsett, incomplete.
It's a good throw. Trying to pick up something. It's 3rd and 13. You're sitting in the pocket. And what are you going to do? You're going to go to one of your guys that's been around. Dorsett's been here for a year now. And just threads that right into cover 2. It's man under cover 2. Dorsett's got to make that catch.
Yeah, Dorsett last year joined the Patriots right before the regular season began from Indianapolis in the Jacoby Brissett trade. Targeted only 18 times. Again, one of the stories of the early part of the summer, but unable to haul in that last throw by Hoyer.
Blocking the back.
And now another flag down on the return by Stroman. Ryan Allen out there to punt for the 2nd time for the Patriots, and Brad Allen and his crew once again will conference.
And you got a block in the back. Yeah, I mean, going back to what we talked about at the open. You know, somebody's got to step up opposite Chris Hogan. And there's a chance for Dorsett to sort of get that inside track. That would have been a big catch. That's a tough catch. But you got to grab that.
You know, one of the differences, too, here as a receiver going across the middle, not quite the same when you're out there on the practice field, even with contact practices.
Doesn't it feel great to hear contact? Like literally hear helmets hitting. Even though I get excited now for a punt return. Oh, that just felt good. 8 guys tackling him.
And you said the word helmet, and we see the officials in a long meeting here.
I'm not talking about spearing, just
of course, have gotten through
the natural contact of the football helmet.
10 minutes of this opening quarter without the new helmet rule being put into effect by these officials, but we expect to see it and hear from the referee a lot about it during this preseason.
And I think they're trying to learn also, these referees. And here's Brad Allen. Now he's getting ready to talk, but got it? Re-kick.
There are fouls by both teams. Personal foul, grasping the face mask, kicking team number 28. During the return, illegal blocking the back, return team number 28. Those penalties will offset. We will re-kick. 4th down.
Joe Judge, Patriots special teams coach, and he'll have a coachable moment when they look at the video on the punt by Ryan Allen. Mentioned earlier that Allen in a competition this summer with Corey Bojorquez, free agent out of the University of New Mexico.
So James White now covers kicks?
Yeah. My guess is it was 38 Brandon Bolden rather than James White. Bolden, of course, has had a spot on this team as a versatile running back.
I put James White right over there with Tom Brady.
Primarily a core special teamer. Stroman awaits. A good punt by Allen. J.C. Jackson as the gunner. Couldn't bring him down, but eventually Stroman loses his balance at the feet of Devlin. We go to another timeout. Patriots down by 7 in this preseason opener. 7-0 lead for Washington here in Foxborough. You're a rookie free agent and you want to make the Patriots. Rob Ninkovich, you got to start on special teams.
Yeah, you see them. He got outside that double there, and this is one of the hardest things to do. You got to make the returner stop his feet and try and make a radical cut. If he does that, then all your help is right there to help you out. So he did a great job there, and there you go. Ryan Allen, give him a little congratulations there. So he did a good job. I mean, that's really hard to get away from those guys. Those guys are fast, and you got to have the speed to close there and get that guy to stop his feet.
J.C. Jackson, Zoe, Maryland Terrapin.
Fear the turtle.
Another youngster in the secondary. At the bottom of your screen is Ryan Lewis on the Patriots practice squad last year. Very little room with which to work for the Redskins. Another first down give with McCoy still in at quarterback. And we see Danny Shelton among the Patriot tacklers trying to clog things up.
That's that two-gap ability right there. His ability to hit the guy, move to the inside, watch the ball carrier, and crash that side of the defensive line down. That's where they got to be better. Late in the year, and especially in that Super Bowl, teams had the ability to run on them and run at will. You need big bodies, but they have the ability to match athletic guys with other ones in passing situations.
Shelton, 12th pick overall in the same draft that produced Malcolm Brown, taken by the Patriots at the end of the first round.
It's high, Tyler.
And off the play fake, pressure on McCoy, but he gets rid of it in time for another first down strike. And Jackson comes up to make the tackle as the Redskins. And McCoy connect again with Davis.
It's a nice grab right there. And this is what you have to do. Yeah, this is what I said last drive. Philip Dorsett, when the ball's high and it's to the inside, these are dangerous areas for receivers to go into. But you got to catch the ball to convert. You got to catch the ball to play in this league.
J.C. Jackson, while in Florida, because of really poor decisions on his part, got himself into some legal entanglements, let go by the football program, went to a junior college, and eventually landed in College Park. He took advantage of his opportunity there.
Oh, my.
Wise again, applying pressure. But again, McCoy gets rid of it. And a completion for another first down with a run after the catch by Elijah Wellman.
Oh, man, Dietrich Wise. What an effort by him. Well, look at this one, Nink.
Yeah, he just beats the back there, back sneaking out. So, like, when the back comes to hit you like that, they tell you to forklift him so he's not a receiver anymore. So that was a good play by Wise, but if he stops him so he can't be a receiver, that's even a better play.
And we just keep doing that, kid.
Year number 2 for Dietrich Wise Jr. out of Arkansas. 5 sacks a year ago for the Patriots in the regular season, 2 more in the postseason. Now McCoy under center, another 1st and 10 for the Redskins. And a big hole up the middle, breaking through to the 40 with a first down run, spinning off contact, and then with a stiff arm along the near side with a flag trailing the play. Good work by Darius Geist, the rookie out of LSU. With Demarius Travis on the tackle for the Pats, but it's coming back.
It's an easy call here. Yeah, Danny Shelton, one of the ones crashing down inside. I actually think it was the linebacker that was held.
Offense, number 38. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Could have called it twice.
So Wellman, the fullback for the Redskins, guilty party.
So you take a look at him right here, and just coming out of the backfield. Shelton's the down guy to the inside. And right there, you see him pull the front of the jersey, down and in. They're going to call that 10 out of 10 times.
Rob, you got a first and 20.
It's first and 20, so I think it's going to be just going to be some type of back on track. Just try and get a chunk play here so it's second and manageable, Because if it's second and 20, it's tough.
So you stay out of man here.
I'd do a zone. Yeah, you'd want to be in zone here, because they got 3 downs to get 20 yards. It's pretty tough.
Well, Hightower playing a lot tonight.
Got Hightower in the middle of the defense. Patriots without him for most of
that's
2017.
Yeah, that's another thing. Guys like him and Edelman haven't played a lot of football last year.
They got to knock the rust off. They got to play.
Had a knee injury early in the year and then a torn pec in week 7. Ended his campaign after, of course, his heroics in Super Bowl 51. The first and 17 officially. McCoy floats the back shoulder. The catch made up in front of Travis, the young defensive back for the Patriots.
Too deep in the zone.
Colt McCoy's doing a nice job putting the ball in spots where the reads are taking him. You see the ball's thrown to the outside and low, away from the defender, instead of leading him up into the defender. Does a nice job taking care of the receiver there.
Vanessa Garner on the catch for the Redskins. From a first and 17 to a second down and 1.
Second and 1, I think a shot play, because if it's third and 1, who cares?
Charlie Weiss.
You're going to get the young corners in Jackson and Lewis out there. And the give is...
Woo! Who's that?
Kelly picks up the first down, but contact at the end with a thump on the tackle.
Jordan Richards with
by
the
Jordan
stick.
Richards.
Attaboy. Yes.
There you go.
He had some help. I'll take that instead of these walkthroughs we've been watching for 9 days. My God. Talking about the grind of training camp, and you really got to get it's a mindset.
Yeah, for running back in practice, again, even with the pads on, it's really touch football in the end.
Even Ninkovich did 2 days back in the day.
Now in the final minute of this opening quarter, Redskins trying to add to a 7-0 lead. A couple of receivers stacked to the left, and McCoy's going to throw the back shoulder right. And with the youngster out in coverage for the Patriots, Jackson got away with a little tug on Harris.
Sure did. See, I'm waiting. I'm looking. Is the back judge seeing it? Did the side judge see it? That's either illegal contact because it's over 5 yards, or it's holding. Ball's thrown. Yeah, it's pulling. It's pulling the right top of the jersey. And he's at 8 yards. That's got to be thrown. Got away with one.
Come on, Zoe, let him play.
Yeah. And supposedly this year, point of emphasis is going to be illegal contact and the usual DPI calls.
False start. Offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Kyle Callis, the second-year guard for the Redskins, called on the false start.
This guy, Brad Allen, was really good yesterday.
Excellent.
Very, very. Now, you know me, I'm a Sterathor guy. Love Gene Sterathor. But Brad Allen, Gene's moved to the booth.
He has.
And Brad is so descriptive and precise, knowing the rules, deferring to the competition committee, not wanting to say something he shouldn't say. He was really good yesterday.
McCoy again to throw, and the deflected pass lands incomplete with the Patriots. Keon Crossan, draft pick out of Western Carolina nearby, and you've got an injured Washington player.
You can just tell this defense and the special teams units are excited to just have contact. Ooh, got him right in the ribs, and he's reaching right for the ribs.
Ryan Lewis with a stick on the youngster Trey Quinn.
That's an excellent form tackle. He leads with his shoulder. He doesn't go to the head. That's just a really good football tackle right there.
Ryan Lewis had been with the Cardinals let go, and the Patriots made quite a financial commitment last year to keep him on the practice squad. His father, a longtime NFL executive. His uncle, former defensive coordinator for the Steelers, though.
Didn't he make the pick on Tom Brady in a season ticket holder practice?
He did.
With Cordero Patterson, over the top of him? Made a nice play there.
Really blossomed at the end of his collegiate career at Pittsburgh, as Quinn, who was the final player taken in this year's draft, departs for the Redskins. Quinn is Mr. Irrelevant, and that guy anything but irrelevant for 19 seasons now. So a 3rd and long again for Washington, with Marshall caught the touchdown pass on the Redskins' second drive alongside McCoy. He's got 2 receivers and a tight end to the left. Soft coverage for the Patriots, facing a 3rd and long. McCoy across the middle and sprinkled the tight end, knocked off his feet. Good work there by Travis, who was with the Patriots last preseason. With the final half minute of this opening quarter.
Yeah, Colt McCoy's coming to the sideline. They're going to be content to let this go down, get into the second quarter. A lot of mixing and matching right now with the defensive line. Adam Butler's been playing a lot. Dietrich Wise, a lot of games, twists. They're just trying to take a look at guys. How do they handle the interior? And can they handle the interior of our defensive line? There's no scheme. There's no schemes right now. There's no game plan. So this is really one-on-one stuff all these coaches are looking at.
So right at the top of your list of the keys to the game, the front 7, and it starts with that D-line.
Yeah.
And a lot more depth, and I would say quality depth up front for the Patriots this year as opposed to last.
And they didn't have that last year. That's a big thing. You remember Coney Ely? They gave draft picks to get that guy. Never worked out. But now you have the ability to switch and mix and match guys.
Let's go back to Andy and Paul down in the Bob's Discount Furniture Studios. Andy, let's talk about that front for the Patriots.
Well, guys, I think it's great to see Derek Rivers out there, first preseason game tonight. He tore his ACL last August, and just to get reps in game action. It's interesting the way they're using him early. It looks like they're actually using him on early downs. He's coming off the field, and they're bringing on Adrian Claiborne in the pass rush situation, but I don't even care really how they're using him. It's more important that he's healthy, and your top pick from a year ago is in the mix.
Got a 52-yard attempt from Hopkins, try to add to the 7-0 lead, and he does. Guy who struggled in his career from long range connects there. It's a 10-0 advantage for Washington. Paul, pick up where Andy left off.
Yeah, Rivers is a guy we haven't seen a ton of because we didn't get a chance to see him before he got hurt last year. So I agree with Andy to see him out there in the mix so quickly coming off the torn ACL. We talked a lot about Dietrich Wise. I think those 2 young guys, Andy, have a chance to add some athleticism to that front 7 and absolutely add some depth. Last year, that was a real trouble spot. That defensive end spot, they had guys like Eric Lee, James Harrison late in the year. They really didn't have any answers opposite Trey Flowers. It looks like right now they have some young depth there.
That was a nice shirt you guys have.
You like them, Zoe, huh?
Are they PFW shirts or?
No.
Yeah,
they're the same as the ones you get.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We got the striped ones. We got the striped one. Hold on. Leave it right there. So what they do each and every day, they bring these guys out. These guys are the Muppets, and we keep them in a box down under the stairs. We got 2 eyes. We got the mouth. We get hard, little flat top. He's a little more meaty. A couple bolts coming outside of his neck. Just kidding. We love you guys. So what do they do with him during the year?
This is a classic example, or that was, of be careful what you wish for. Another chance to return for Riley McCarron from the 4. And another hard hit as he goes down to the 20-yard line.
I just like hearing sticks. Oh, this is great. He's angry, too.
Extracurricular
That's called
activity.
football.
Gino into the fray for the Pats.
Boy Gino, mixing it up.
Now in his 4th year out of Oklahoma.
He's athletic. Played some basketball games with him in the offseason. Kick and jump.
You still got game?
Me? No. Still collect check. I'll show up.
You play the point forward position in that triangle offense?
Yeah, I coach.
Hollister in motion. And he'll catch it from Hoyer off the play fake and then go down. He's thrown to the turf on the final play of this opening quarter by Zach Vigil. It's a 10-0 Redskins lead. We'll be back with more on the Patriots preseason television network after these messages.
Patriots preseason football is brought to you by Gillette, the official shave of the New England Patriots. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Pepsi. This is the Pepsi for every Patriots fan. Pepsi, official soft drink of the Patriots.
We've been waiting for all summer long. Preseason opener, regular season around the corner. 10-0 lead, though, for Washington over the Patriots here at Gillette as we get the second quarter underway in New England with Jeremy Hill, the former Bengal in his first year for the Pats, lined up behind James Devlin. taking the handoff as he runs it through the Washington front with a first down pickup out to the 33.
The
running back position right now among the groups that's been hit in the injury report, brought to you by Optum, and it's the rookie Sony Michel, second pick in the first round for the Patriots, but also Marcus Cannon, offensive lineman who missed much of last year. And then Harvey Longy, he also, of course, was out for just about all of last season. Young man who made the Patriots as a rookie free agent in 2017. Hoyer dumps it off underneath, and Hill with the catch brought down in the open field.
Hill has a burst. Now watch him all camp. Now he wears the long white leggings a lot. So I know you would pick your feet up and you put him down, it makes him look faster. But he's a guy that has a chance to get outside and get downhill. Now can he continuously do that? Can he wear down? They got to be able to feed him the ball more. Going back to that Sony Michel injury report, had fluid drained from his knee. You just get concerned because there's a history of knee injuries with the kid, but it's one of the reasons he slipped to the bottom of that first round. Played at a high level at Georgia. Just hope he can overcome any knee injury.
Hoyer has to throw the football into the turf at the feet of James White. There's a jailbreak up the middle for the Redskins, applying the pressure, and another 3rd and long for this Patriots offense.
Yeah, this is a screen written all over it right here. This is the back right here. You're trying to screen to the right side.
Just
Redskins
timing.
Shift down. They open up. It's a quick release with the guard in the center. So David Andrews gets a quick hit, and then you see from the backside, Joe Tooney slides over also. It's just poor timing. The whole screen game is predicated on timing.
Josh McDaniels back for his 15th season. 10th as a coordinator for the Patriots, of course, for a few hours. He was the head coach of the Colts, so they announced. Throw to the near side is incomplete. Hoyer trying to find Chris Hogan, but there is a flag that comes in.
I think he went through the back of him there. It was a sticks route right on the sticks, and I think he hit him before the ball.
Good throw by Hoyer, too. Kept it outside.
Pass interference. Offense,
there.
number 15. The penalty is declined. Fourth down.
Much to the dismay of Chris Hogan.
Got to take another look at this one. But, I mean, this is part of the issues you're going to have. Hey, you talk about Eric Decker. Why is Decker still out there? People say he can't separate from people. There's a throw to the backside. It's a bad call.
I thought that was a little contact there before the ball was.
It's like contact with the defense. It's a bad call.
Yep.
Danny Johnson, a rookie free agent for the Redskins. And the punt by Allen takes a bounce off a Washington player. Along the near side as the Redskins have a 10-0 lead in Foxborough. You wonder what it's like being Rob Ninkovich. From Andre Tippett and Steve Cargile to Pat Patriot.
Hey, he's having fun with the Germans.
Sebastian Vollmer, Marcus Kuhn.
The shotgun guys.
And the end zone militia. Tom Terrific. Colt McCoy back in a quarterback for the Redskins. Try to avoid the rush. He can't do it, and Lawrence Guy brings him down. Rob Ninkovich, 1 quarter plus into your preseason debut as a TV analyst. How you doing down there?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Tom gave me that slime hug, like the slime down your ear because he was all sweaty.
Does he touch you like with his hand?
Oh, yeah, he does. He does always like the flat hand, like the real quick tap.
Yeah, he's a germaphobe. So he always gives you the fist bump. He won't shake hands.
Sometimes he gives me the double tap because I think he likes me.
How are the Germans?
Oh, they're good. I think they're up there somewhere.
It's like the two guys, the Swedish chef and Beaker.
Sie German, yeah.
You still wanted?
People talk about the TB12 method. What about the Sebastian Vollmer method?
Oh, yeah.
He's like much weight as he's lost.
He's like a diving board right now. He looks thin.
He's off the juice.
I mean, I'm 260 right now. I look pretty thick. Oh, he gave me an embrace.
Yeah, he leaned in.
That bearded man behind Rob Ninkovich you saw briefly. Sebastian Vollmer, former right tackle for the Pats.
See? I was wiping the sweat off my ear.
Where'd you get that shirt at, Nick? It's a nice shirt.
Oh, this is Mr. Sid right here, the whole outfit.
Thank you. Just like Bob
My
and
guys
I.
Stu and Barry, they're the best. Go see them.
Yeah. Center Street, Newton. They have a nice place in the Seaport now.
I think I look good.
You look great.
You're going to like the way you look. That's a different thing.
Samaj P. Run.
Don't do that.
Set up the middle for the Redskins. Yeah, none better than Barry and Stu.
Barry and Stu, they're awesome. Yeah, go see them.
In there along with Landon Roberts.
I look like I could be a kindergarten teacher too right now. I feel good.
What do you think of the football?
I think right now they're knocking the rust off. I mean, there's guys playing a lot. I mean, you see some guys that are out there that are playing a lot of football, but that's a good thing. I mean, they haven't played in a long time, and practice is nothing like a game. So they have to be out here. They got to be playing. And I want to see some guys win one-on-ones. Come on.
Oh. There's a call.
Pirine gets outside, and eventually Richards forces him to the sideline. He got another marker, though, on the play.
Nice job by Landon Roberts here, getting up inside, drawing the holding call. It's going to be a holding call. It's coming back.
Check it out.
That's a good, strong run.
Holding.
Is like
offense, number 67.
Just knife
10-yard penalty.
He makes a lot of plays. Offensive linemen are scared of that guy.
Yeah, he's one of those platoon guys. And you take a look at him right here. Getting up inside.
Set the edge.
Yep. And he
that's a hold. That's
gets
a hold.
held outside on that right shoulder pad area.
That's the second penalty tonight on Callis of the Redskins, and Landon Roberts out of the University of Houston. Third year now as a linebacker for the Patriots. He certainly hits with a purpose. Another long yarded situation for McCoy and company. Steps up. Brown giving chase. And eventually McCoy scoots out of bounds. Hurried to the sideline by Roberts.
Hey, Nick, I want to ask you a question about nickel defense. Now, with Hightower being back and his ability to rush off the edge, and that's ideally where you want him, all other backers come off the field, right? Because I think there's a big concern when you have one of these linebackers on one of those quick scat backs. Who are the best? Who are the better linebackers in coverage?
Well, you know what I'm telling you, this is what the NFL is going to.
Yeah.
All these teams are having quick scat back out of the backfield wheel routes. You know, we saw it in the playoffs. We saw it in the first game of the year versus Kansas City.
You guys saw it in the Super Bowl in Atlanta.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just the way the NFL is going. So you know, High is great rushing on the outside, but he's really good at rushing inside too when you run all those games.
Yeah.
So you know,
I mean, you want him on the field.
I think Bentley. You know, honestly, I know he's a Purdue guy, but Bentley, he's having a great camp. So 51, I think he's gonna do good. Do well against covering backs out of the backfield. I think he's had a good camp so far. We'll see how he does here in the preseason.
Juwan Bentley, one of the two linebackers the Patriots took in this year's draft after the New England penalty. McCoy down the middle once again in front of Jackson with the completed throw. Well done to Cam Sims.
Jackson's got to get that left hand in there. He's got a shot to make that play. Yeah, it's route recognition. It's a dig cut right in front of him. Big open cavern in the middle. And if you could just get that inside left hand to knock that ball down at the last second or somehow come up through it and punch it out, keep that from being converted.
This isn't the ACC. How different is the speed of this game for him as a rookie, going against an NFL opponent for the first time?
It's night and day. You know, I remember my first preseason game. I was shocked at how fast it was. Maybe it was.
Pirine up the middle. Shelton comes away with a football for the Patriots. Danny Shelton thinking scoop and score.
Yeah, he's down.
But he's down by contact. Danny Shelton, when he joined the Patriots back in the spring, said he never expected to run as much.
Oh, ball's
that
out.
Ball does come out.
Ball's out. Knees are not down. Whistle's not blown. See if the arm, Bob, because if his elbow's down, he would be considered down. But it is not. Throw the flag.
Belichick.
Yeah.
Challenge flag. So the Patriots getting a chance to work on the mechanics of the challenge. Ernie Adams, the eyes in the sky for Bill Belichick, his trusted friend going back to prep school. And you know, Nick told us about Juwan Bentley,
Bill's
the Purdue
upset.
product.
Because the ruling on the field was forward progress. The play is not reviewable. It's second down.
That's horrible. This is horrible. Forward progress. What was the game, Bob, a year or two ago? A defensive player had a strip. Was it against Flacco? where the ball came out and they said they rolled forward progress was stopped. That's ridiculous.
And it's important to note,
this is not,
although it is not a
play.
fumble, in the eyes and words of the officials,
Bill gave an earful.
the words of Rob Ninkovich just a moment ago promised that we'd see Juwan Bentley make some plays out there. And the Purdue three-time captain, first ever,
Rob, how many
Boilermaker history, in to jar the ball free.
Rob, how many tackles did you make when the running back is still moving forward? You get credit for the tackle.
Hey, sometimes the refs mess up, okay? I'm just trying to correct their mess up.
You got the veteran Adrian Claiborne with his 30 career sacks, applying the pressure on McCoy along with the rookie Keon Crossan. Kind of a freakish athlete, Crossan, as a 7th-round draft pick.
It's pretty loud for a preseason game.
It was a screen. They were setting up a screen there.
What's a big indicator for you as an edge guy when you read screen? What's the one thing you see?
I like the offensive tackle's front foot. If that's stiff in the ground, like screwed in tight, he's trying to throw me up the field and get off the ball and get up the field to block.
McCoy hit by Claiborne, throws it incomplete. There's a pass broken up in the secondary. And again, Crossan on the spot for the Pats.
Give me this guy right here. Claiborne at the top of your screen. Watch him with the handwork. Then he gets back downhill to get to the quarterback. Oh, touch the quarterback's helmet. You got to be careful of that. But you have Butler and Rivers. Now here's a look at Rivers on the backside. You're holding that edge, and now you got one-on-ones on the inside. So your ability to switch guys up front, just keep dosing them with healthy, fresh guys. You should be able to create some sort of a pass rush this year. Hightower's back too.
We saw Riley McCarron earlier. Now it's Braxton Berrios, the rookie out of Miami, with a chance to return perhaps the punt by Tress Way, and he's forced to call for the fair catch, circled by the Redskins in coverage. And to a timeout in the second. 10-0 Washington. Home to 5 Super Bowl championship banners, and of course the first in 2001 among the 9 conference championships the Patriots have won under the direction of the architect of this organization's resurgence back in the mid-90s, Robert Kraft, next to son Jonathan Kraft. Rob Ninkovich played for several different teams in the NFL. What was it like to play under Robert Kraft for so many years?
I tell you what, Mr. Kraft, he knows what it is to win. He needs to have all the right equipment. He knows what he needs on his staff, and he takes care of his players. So, I've been to other places, and this is a special place. I mean, there's no other place that's had a run like this. So, I love working for Mr. Kraft, and I know a lot of other people do as well.
So run by Jeremy Hill, good cut, but then the ball came loose, albeit he was down.
Yeah, it was late.
That's been a problem for him.
Sonny
thus
Michel,
far in
Sonny
training
Michel
camp.
too. Had a couple drops early in camp.
Of course, Hill had the dubious distinction of a costly fumble for the Bengals in the post. Maintained his footing there through the hole and carries for a first down outside the 20.
That's a jump cut there, boys. You say jump cut, you get it going one way. You see something and pop it up back inside. And then get it going downhill. That's what they need. This is what they need, a bell cow guy. You're heading left, boom, you see something backside. And that's a nice job by Shaq Mason and him walling things off. Just give him a little crease. I played with Curtis Martin. Curtis Martin was one of the greatest cutback runners of our generation watching football. That guy could take it 80 yards out the back door.
Hill again on the give from Hoyer. This one's
there you go.
Through the right side. And Rob Ninkovich, you played with Stephen Ridley out of LSU, a one-cut guy, had a 1,000-yard season back in 2012. He's a friend of Hill's who followed him with the Tigers program. And here's a guy who had a 1,000-yard season as a rookie in the National Football League as a Cincinnati Bengal.
Yeah, I mean, I've played against him. He's a hard runner, north and south, like Zoe said. That's the hard thing to stop when a guy has that momentum and he just cuts it, boom, right up the field. It's hard to stop those legs. He's got some big legs and he's keeping them churning.
Last year, the only thing that stopped Hill early on was an ankle injury. He ended the season on IR for the Bengals, trying to get outside off the toss. This time it's Mike Gillislee.
Okay.
And he is swarmed under.
I'll tell you what, this is a really good job by Dwayne Allen. Sealing the edge as a blocking tight end. That's the first and foremost. And Coach Belichick told us how athletic Trent Brown is. For a guy of that stature, at 6'8", 365, to pick up his feet and get all the way out towards the boundary to lead that ball carrier, that's pretty athletic play for a big guy. Normally they're not that athletic.
I've played against that guy, and I can tell you he's a load.
Draft day acquisition from San Francisco. Safety blitz coming for the Redskins. Quick throw as Hoyer tries to find Chris Hogan. Let's rewind to the previous play.
All right, Trent Brown, that's the massive human being right there at the bottom of your screen. Now watch this. Here's a toss sweep. There's Allen right there with the pin block. Okay, Dorsett's in there. Now, that's a huge man getting outside,
pounds.
but still not being out of control. And that's a little corner that tries to turn and give him his back and get out of the way. And Trent Brown still manages 2 hands on him. That's pretty good.
Allen back out to punt for the Patriots. And Harris breaks a tackle along the sideline before Richards forces him out. Good starting field position, though, for the Redskins midway through the second quarter and a 10-0 Washington lead in the preseason opener. Well, dabbing for dad, a family night out at Gillette Stadium. 10-0 Washington leading the Patriots in this preseason opener. We talked at the outset of Dietrich Wise. He's made a good impression thus far in training camp, of course, coming off a solid rookie season. Let's go down to the Bob's Discount Furniture Studios. Paul Brillo, you've watched him on a regular basis this summer. Where did he pick up from last year?
Yeah, I think he's been one of the 4 or 5 best players that we've seen on a daily basis at training camp. And, last year I thought he flashed at times. He played about half, maybe 50% of the snaps. And he did some work on sub packages, got after the passer. This year it looks like he's looking for a bigger role, maybe a 3-down role. He's a guy that can play the run and the pass. He's been pretty impressive so far this summer.
And a good throw by McCoy, a broken tackle in the secondary. And the cut by Sims, spilling inside the 5.
Great throw by McCoy. Phenomenal throw. That's how you separate as a receiver, folks. You get behind the first level of coverage. Quarterback drops it in that outside zone. Not much pressure whatsoever. And basically on the back shoulder. Then you get poor tackling right here. You break down. You got to break down. And that's basically almost how Minnesota won that game in freakish fashion against the Saints. Not breaking down and making a tackle.
I think we're seeing a little bit of the missed tackles here. They haven't been doing a lot of live tackling, so we're seeing that right now.
After the 57-yard completion to give to Kelly, McCutcheon is stonewalled. And among the tacklers for the Patriots, aforementioned Wise and Bentley filling as well, along with Schulten up front.
Shelton, Wise, and Hightower. See, Hightower right there stones him.
Let's see,
and that allows.
See 51 right there?
Yep.
That was 51.
Look at that. Is he getting a little goal line stance here?
That's great patience.
Yep.
So 2nd and goal to go. Good situational football for the Pats in this preseason opener, down 10. As the Redskins try to get a line. Play fake in the bootleg by McCoy.
Shot high.
Throwing to Harris. Touchdown, Washington.
Nice job by Hightower, not totally falling for this fake opposite him. He doesn't crash down inside. He forces the quarterback to throw the football. That's just
see that guy flashing
read.
across there. Sometimes you got to hit him. He's on the ground, so that he's
high
gone.
gets out.
Yep. That's an extra guy. Pull it up. I mean, the coverage has got to be the tighter.
Dog chasing cars there.
Hopkins back out for the point after try. You saw the Redskins aligning with the stack, and the Patriots off the short motion by Washington try to adjust defensively. Talk about communication.
Demaryius Travis too.
Try to sort things out from a defensive perspective. And all scoring plays reviewable in the officials.
The ruling on the field of a touchdown is under further review.
Checking to see whether Harris had control when both feet were down.
You know what?
He certainly stepped out.
What's interesting?
Did he have 2 feet that tapped?
Here's a great look at it right here. Nice job by our camera guys. Boom. Roll,
Not sure he
roll a
had
little more.
Control before
he's out.
He lifted that right foot.
Left one's the only one down. As he establishes control. Let's see it here.
So here's where the right foot is down.
Right
now
there.
He's got control. Did he toe drag? Did we see pellets?
Right.
There?
It's the right one. I don't think it was down.
While Brad Allen takes a look, of course, in concert with the officials back in New York, a chance to explain. the new catch rule, or at least the redefined catch rule.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Still don't think we know what a catch is in this league. It's his right foot you need to watch.
Right there.
If the
Drag the toes.
Okay.
If they do not have the view, they go with what they called on the field.
See, the ball ends up in
That's why
his
it
right
stands
hand.
and not confirms.
Yeah.
And you got to remember what Brad Allen told us yesterday in a production meeting. Just because the ball moves across the chest area and there is movement there, that doesn't mean that he lost possession. He didn't gain possession. That scares me.
As we learned in the Super Bowl last year on the catch by Corey Clement.
That scares the HE double hockey sticks out of me. Because I still don't know what a catch is. I really don't. Let's do trivia, Bob.
How about a little trivia time? Tonight's trivia is brought to you by Bank of America, official bank of the New England Patriots. Rob Gronkowski's caught the most touchdowns from Tom Brady, 75. Who has caught the second most touchdowns from TB12?
Who do you think, Nick?
Nick?
Hold on, Devin's looking at me. We're talking back and forth.
Oh, God.
Sign language. Sorry.
Hey, there's a line. You're either with them or with us.
I'm
right?
sorry.
You know
I'm
what I mean?
sorry. He made fun of my pants. He said they're a little too tight. I don't think they are. They got a little stretch in them.
I was going to ask you that, too, because I see you got something in your pockets, or maybe you don't.
I mean, it's my wallet. It's pretty thick. Yeah, just kidding.
It's your keys.
That's my keys. Yeah, it's my fob. My keys. That's my...
Who's number 2? Gronkowski? I'm going to go with either Randy Moss or Troy Brown. Not Troy Brown, Deion Branch. Deion Branch.
Julian? Oh, man.
Julian gets a lot of catches, not a ton of TDs.
Yeah, true.
So that's what you got to remember about Troy, too.
Barrios off the bounce, advised by Hill to take the knee.
Gronkowski has 69. He has 69 touchdowns. Remember the...
Let's reveal the answer. So Gronk, all-time leader. Brady touchdown targets, and there's number 2. Now NFL Pro Football Hall of Famer Randy Moss, who's joined in Canton by 2 gentlemen he recognized so well during his speech, Bill Belichick, Robert Kraft.
Chris Carter, Hall of Famer, too, tweeting that out. What do you think Gronk's telling him?
Got any more seeds?
Hoyer on the give, and another chance for Gillislee in this preseason opener. On the big man on the sideline for game number 1 of the 2018 preseason.
Looks a lot skinnier.
He looks lean and mean. I like it. When you get older, you got to get lean.
He moves well. I don't care how stiff or how big. Can you move well? And if he's moving well, and if he could still catch the ball off his toes, that's great. Catch radius with this guy's unreal, off the charts.
Yeah, I learned that out the hard way in practice every day.
Eric Decker in the lineup in the slot inside of Patterson. You've got Lucien out there for the Patriots as well. And they're run blocking for Gillislee.
Come on, Teddy Karras.
It's going to be a 3rd and long.
Right, take a look at this, too. Trent Brown's still out there as they're mixing and matching the rest of the offensive line. Hey, Rob.
Yeah.
Gronkowski, talking about covering him. Was he ever... He's always open, right? Even when you got him covered.
I mean, I've been all over him, draped on him in practice, and they still make the catch because you have Tom, who can throw a perfect ball, and his radius is so large.
He looks like Drago here.
I'm 6'2", 6'3". I mean, that guy's just so much bigger than me. It's just impossible to cover him.
Split screen of you two guys.
Oh, there I am. Okay.
Look at that, huh? Ah, you like seeing. Look, he likes seeing himself. He turned, and then he sort of sucked his midsection in. Like,
yeah, I did. Yeah, love handles. You got to watch out for those.
Yeah, they're awful. Wait till you're 50. Look at this guy here.
I got some time before I'm
if
50.
he does, he does. The Russian boxer.
His face is like iron.
Break him.
Must break him. Got to get Seabass out here.
Does he already leave? Did he already leave?
No, they're in here somewhere.
What's the
chant?
the injured Redskin.
Is this a Tom Brady chant? Free Tom Brady? He's been free.
Are they saying we want Brady?
Oh, left knee.
Oh man, I don't like watching that stuff.
Yeah, somebody got thrown right into the left knee.
It's tough.
Rolled up.
I know that feeling. It's not a good one.
Ioannidis 4.5 sacks a year ago for the Redskins. And Rob, often, as you were saying, just sitting around talking off air, a lot of times it's so-called friendly fire. Guy who's a teammate.
Yeah, I mean, it happens a lot. You see a lot of guys, they're flying around a pile, and, you know, it's just, that's football. Your foot's a couple of feet one way and somebody falls on it, and 2 feet the other way, and you're completely fine. So it's just, you know, sometimes the game will get you that way.
You know, somebody asked me a question here on Twitter. By the way, you can follow me on Twitter, @ScottZolak. Why the Patriots logo is not painted on the middle of the field, nor are the end zones painted? It's a good question. I bet it's because the Revolution have a home game on the 11th against Philadelphia.
I think you're correct on that.
And you could actually, hey, you know what? Since we're going to throw questions out there, you could ask me questions here. We'll answer some in the second half at #AskZoe. Keep it clean, people.
Hoyer has his throw for Lucien, deflected. Troy Apke, rookie out of Penn State.
All right, take a look at this route. See, that's the tough part. When I say he bends it in like that, bending it. You know, when you run your in cut, you got to plant that outside foot and go right straight across that field. When you round it, it makes the defender, gives them an easier angle to cut you off underneath.
And the Allen punt returned along the sideline. Kelly trying to rope, steps out.
Wow.
Big hit there.
Patriots looking for a flag, and got Jordan Richards slow and rising.
Good collisions tonight.
Like Zoe, like you were saying on that in cut, you got to come back to the ball, correct?
Yeah, I mean, when you go upfield and then you start to, you know, just round it in.
Yeah,
it makes
it easier for the defender to undercut that.
During the return, personal foul, illegal blindside block, number 58 of the return team. 15 yards from the spot of the foul, first down.
See, these are the plays they have to take out of the game, because if you can't see the block coming and you just get cleaned out, they got to take that out.
Yeah, but that's not head-to-head.
He got him. Watch, right underneath his chin, right there.
I don't think he hit his head. I think that's a clean block with the shoulder. He led with the shoulder, Rob.
Yeah, I just don't see.
I mean, I understand they're taking.
See 37 making that play. The ball's already out of bounds. So I know that's football, but sometimes those can get you. You know.
Yeah.
I've had a few of those.
They're trying to take that collision out. It's the no-look collision.
I've had a couple of those to me. You don't know what happened. You just are like, whoa, what happened? What hit me?
He's in La La Land right now.
That's a rookie free agent, Jared Fernandez out of NC State, trying to make an impression.
It could have been the head.
Call for that penalty.
It's the head hitting the ground after it. Is what gets it.
Well, this turf is not soft, so I played a lot of games on this turf, and when they bring in the bulldozers and all the concerts, I mean, it gets packed down pretty hard.
How about monster truck when they bring
dirt? How many? Yeah, 4 feet of dirt. Yeah, how much does that weigh?
I love those trucks.
Yeah, it's cool though. I went.
How loud is that? I mean, you live close to the stadium. You could hear those trucks revving up from.
Oh yeah, I was Beyonce and Jay-Z. I was in my patio just listening to them jam out.
Awesome.
How about Taylor Swift, though?
Oh, my favorite.
I was here for that one.
I missed this one this year. I've been to the previous 4.
My little girl's 5, so it's all about.
Nick, how much fun did we have Metallica?
Oh man, I don't know if they're coming back, but I was right in it last year.
Nick was laying people out. Tuukka Rask was in the snake pit. I'm down there in one of the mosh pits. Next thing I know, I get pushed by this guy. It's Rob Ninkovich. This guy's running around. Next thing I know, Nick just gave him one of them little nudges with the shoulder, just depleted him. He was flat.
I couldn't help myself. It was fun.
That was awesome.
We saw the former Brown, Colt McCoy, earlier to start for the Redskins. Now it's ex-Brown Kevin Hogan on the handoff for Washington. He's the 3rd quarterback on the Redskins roster. Kevin Hogan out of Stanford, originally with Kansas City. Spent the last 2 years with Cleveland.
Classic Stanford quarterback. And that 6'3", 210, 220 build, like Elway. Elway's more of a 6'4" guy, and Andrew Luck.
Late here in the second quarter, Duke Dawson into the lineup for the Patriots into the secondary. Another carry for Washington, stopped shy of the 30 with Adam Butler along with Bentley, rookie linebacker, drafted out of Purdue, the 143rd pick. this year's draft, making the stop. Looks like he's communicating the defense.
Yeah, he's got the green dot. The green dot is right, that sticker on the back of the helmet. This means you're the signal caller.
Well, the Redskins and the Patriots are headed into the 2-minute warning. Washington on top. It's Cordero Patterson.
You heard about me, there's some word about me, like, woo.
Hailing from South Carolina, Patterson grew up in the football hotbed that is Rock Hill, a.k.a. Football City, USA. Rock Hill produced consecutive first-round picks from 2012 through 2014. Legend at Hutchinson Community College, he owns 5 school records and has his jersey retired. An elite return man, Patterson showcased his speed and versatility at the University of Tennessee. A 2-time Pro Bowler and All-Pro, Patterson shares the NFL record for longest touchdown ever. You can find Patterson enjoying a meal at his favorite restaurant, Applebee's. Welcome to New England, Cordero. There is Cordero Patterson, who began his career with the Minnesota Vikings.
Love Applebee's.
Taking on the draft choice that the Vikes got from the Patriots.
Excuse me, miss. Did I order onions on this steak? Because I don't believe I did. Ricky Bobby's favorite restaurant. It's unbelievable. It doesn't matter how many years you play in the league, how many Pro Bowls, doesn't matter. You go to where you know you're getting what you get. Applebee's.
Out of the 2-minute warning, it's a 3rd and 4 for Hogan and the Redskins with their 17-0 lead. The Patriots are going to rush 4.
Nice.
Rivers applying the pressure. Reaching out for the stick on the
He may have got held.
throw.
He may have got
Marshall
held.
brought down by Bentley.
Great rush by Rivers.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 95, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
How? Okay, bottom of your screen right here. Gets a great rush inside. Watch, beats the front of him. Oh man, is that a bad call? Referee crew having a tough time tonight. He doesn't get any more textbook rushing the quarterback than that. You beat the tackle, get up underneath, and you hit the quarterback right in the chest as he's throwing.
Would you
Textbook.
say speed to power there?
You give me more of that with Wise, you're going to have a chance of these guys coming off the edge.
And again, you're talking about Rivers coming off a torn ACL a year ago.
You're Brian Flores, you're Bill
preseason
Belichick.
debut.
You tell him do nothing different. You got to remember too. These guys haven't called games in a while, so the refs are also rusty. What do you got, Nick, on Flores?
C51 here,
Yep.
being patient, making the play right there. I'm telling you, he's having a good camp so far. He's had a good game so far as well.
On 2nd and 13. Throw underneath. The tackle made by Duke Dawson. Patriots' 2nd-round pick out of Florida. Closing in on halftime here at Gillette and coming up at halftime. With the Redskins on top of the Patriots at the moment 17-0. Got the Geico halftime report.
What do we got at halftime, Bob?
We've got Steve Burton here alongside.
Yeah.
And he's going to take us inside the Patriots'
What's up, guys?
new locker room. It's the same room, but
When's the last time you've been on the news, man?
been refurbished.
It's like you got 5 vacation weeks this summer.
Oh, come on, man. You throw me under the bus?
A legend.
I want to see this defense make a stop here.
I want to see somebody pin their ears back and get after the quarterback.
There you go.
It's 3rd and 11. Get in a 4-point stance. Get off on the ball. Beat your guy one-on-one. I want to see some one-on-one rush wins, clean wins.
You know, talk about the halftime feature.
Yeah, what do you got?
Try to at least.
There we go. I'm going 95 with a good rush here.
They took down the old Dr. Nink sign off the old locker.
I know.
And these guys are going to have, what, like a scoreboard or a video board above each locker?
Yeah, they're going to have like kind of what's around the stadium where they have they can change whatever they want whenever they want, so they don't have to waste paper,
So 3rd down and 11.
There it is. Come inside.
Rivers again trying to rush the quarterback as Hogan unloads, and Bentley makes the tackle for the Patriots. The young linebacker with a stop on the tight end Flanagan.
The nice thing about Rivers coming off that left edge right here defensively, he got up into the tackle box area and at the quarterback, but once he realized here's where the quarterback's sitting, I don't want to keep going and running upfield. Chris Slade used to do that all the time. I'm going to stop. I'm going to try to take this guy and push him into the quarterback. Here he is right here.
Look,
watch.
He's
getting a rush upside. Now he stops right here. Now watch, Nick. He starts pushing him. Look at the power.
He's a strong boy now. I've trained with him this whole offseason. He's a big, strong man. Yep, up top, he can bench all. Look at his arms. He's got big triceps. I mean, that's when you got all your bench powers through your triceps and your chest. But, if you're going to play on the left side of this defense, you have to understand where the quarterback is, where he's at, the depth of the quarterback. Is it a 5-step, 7-step drop? And if you run past the quarterback on that side, they can just get out of the pocket so easily. It puts so much more stress on the secondary. You got to keep the quarterback in the pocket.
The Patriots with Berrios waiting on the way punt out of the New England timeouts. Fair catch. Handled outside the 10. Let's go back down to Paul Perillo and Andy Hart. Paul, your impressions thus far of this preseason opener?
You know, Sos, I thought it was interesting that the defense, a lot of the frontline guys up front stayed out there well into the second quarter, and I think you're seeing that as a reaction to no joint practices. Rob talked about it earlier. I thought tackling was a bit of an issue for them, and you haven't done a lot of tackling in sort of this easy training camp. You didn't have the joint practices. They got some good reps, at least being put in position to make tackles. They missed a lot of them, but they got a lot of game reps.
Paul, what do you think of the hit on Jordan Richards?
You know, I understand what they're trying to get that hit out of the game, so I'm totally with you. It wasn't a helmet shot. It wasn't high. It wasn't cheap, but they're trying to get that unnecessary roughness out of the game. It's sort of a way of life of 2018 football. Andy was disgusted, too.
Hated it. Hated it. Just like they hit Rivers textbook pass rush, and you're going to call 15 yards rushing.
Yeah, that was the one that Brad Allen talked about yesterday, guys. That sort of, if they're going to be burping the guy, when you put all your weight on top of the quarterback, I think that's what he got called for. I didn't really like that one either.
Let him play.
Hoyer with a lot of time, finding the open Lucien. And a first down with a step out to kill the clock with 17 seconds to go.
Good patience by Hoyer right there. Just looking for a chunk play, something, because you're down under 20. Lucien did a nice job coming all the way from the other side of the field in that second level, that deep coverage.
That's a 22-yard completion to Devin Lucien, drafted out of Arizona State 3 years ago. Last year, cut loose by the Patriots, bounced around to 4 different teams before a return to New England.
Looking for a post corner here, corner route.
We got Patterson and Lucien on the outside. Hoyer with time, rifles down the middle. Lucien is open again.
Field goal. Get him out there.
Timeout.
He hits the deck with 1 timeout left, and the Patriots use it with 5 seconds to go.
Cordero Patterson clearing this thing out on the left side. And Brandon Bollinger up back. He just does the chip. It's a nice job in the middle by the center. That's just a clear out route. You got 3 guys running verticals, and you bring Lucien, the outside receiver, across the field.
It's a good chunk play right there. Puts him in field goal position. This is exactly what Bill wants to do. He wants to see his team drive the length of the field, and now they're going to attempt a field goal here. Steven's going to put it through the uprights.
So there you got Lucien making some plays here in the passing game where, I go back to that drop by Dorsett over the middle when Hoyer tried to get him the ball earlier. They're keeping track of these.
Situational football.
And that's 47 yards worth of completions. Hoyer to Lucien to set up a 52-yard attempt for Gostkowski out of the hold of Ryan Allen. The snap in place. The kick to the uprights, and the Patriots are on the board. The veteran, all-time leading scorer, franchise history from 52.
Yeah, I said it when Adam Vinatieri was here. Enjoy these guys like him, McGinnis, and all these guys, because eventually they're going to go. I think we've only had 2 kickers here during this Bill Belichick run. Vinatieri and this guy. This is his 13th year. 13 years in the league. And he's still kicking with that type of accuracy. And he's got a strong leg. He's a weapon on kickoffs.
And Nick, got to ask you about Gostkowski, because when Bill talks about him, he says he's a football player. He does everything that everybody else on the team does. Sometimes kickers are ostracized. Not so it seems in the case of Stephen Gostkowski.
No, not at all. And he's a good friend of mine. And, he's one of those guys that, he can do everything really well. He's a great golfer. He can play baseball. He was almost a professional baseball player, and he went to obviously continue to kick. But, I just think that a guy like himself, he can do a lot of different things. He's not just a kicker. He hates that. So don't just call him the kicker. He'll lose his mind.
It's a good work by the Pats again in situational football. Hoyer to Lucien twice. Gostkowski converts. And Now he kicks off to the end zone for a touchback.
With that new rule that they put in last year, I mean, Steven really excelled at putting that ball right on the 2-yard line and hanging it up there. And a lot of teams were starting at their 18, you know. So the Patriots really capitalized on that last year.
Well, it's going to be interesting this year. They're not going to show it. They're not going to show in preseason what they're going to do. They're going to pooch a lot of those down right around the goal line or about a yard deep, because you could only have 3 return men back there. The other 8 returners need to be up on the line of scrimmage from the return game part, where the kicking team is all going to be up at the point where Gostowski's kicking off from. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, he turned those kicks into an art form last year. Now we head to the half of this preseason opener. The Patriots trailing Washington 17-3. Stay tuned for the Geico halftime report coming up after these messages. It's a 17-3 lead for Washington at halftime of the 2018 preseason opener. South of Boston here in Foxborough, where moments ago Steve Burton talked to head coach Bill Belichick.
Well, joining me now is Patriot head coach Bill Belichick. And coach, preseason football is not about winning or losing. But what do you hope to get out of the first half?
We need to do pretty much everything better, just not good enough in any area.
Was it good to see good situational football scoring at the end of the half anyway?
Yeah, about 38 seconds of good football.
You got a lot to get going on.
All right.
Good luck in the second half, coach.
Thank you.
All right. That's Patriots head coach Bill Belichick. Guys, let's go back up to you.
All right.
Not too happy about the first half, and that's
back
understandable.
down to you. You go stand down there next to him. Go hang out another 10 minutes down there. See what happens.
I'm happy I wasn't.
Oh my God!
I'm happy I didn't have that interview. But,
oh man!
Yeah. You know, I think in the second half here, I'm excited to see some of these young guys that haven't played. And right now, I remember this time when I was a player. The second half of a preseason game, you're just giving it everything you got. Because if you don't, you're not going to make the team. So, you know, I want to see some of these guys go out there and play, fly around, make some plays,
That's right.
Make some impact plays. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I lived that for 10 years, man. It's time I got to play. So
I'm jacked up down here, though. I tell you what, it's hard to stand right next to the field and not, you know, be playing.
Let's go down to the to blow the dust off the trunk downstairs. Bring these 2 guys out again. There they are.
What do you want?
Andy Hart hates me right now.
Yep.
Huh?
Why don't you draw on me again? Make me look like I can't say it on TV.
I really want to thank you for that, Zoe.
Stop it.
No, I think
What do we need to see, guys?
I think the second half, a couple things I want to see is Danny Etling, if the late round quarterback gets on the field, how he looks just getting to the line of scrimmage, sort of going through the process of being an NFL quarterback. And another competition I'm a little bit interested in, we saw Ryan Allen in the first half, Bojorquez, if we see him get out there with that big leg. We've seen him boom the ball on the side field.
Right.
When he gets in team drills, looks like he gets a little nervous and gets inconsistent, so maybe he gets out there.
And what about Berrios? I mean, we heard so much about him since the draft, but is it buyer beware because of our affinity with Austin Carr last year and how that ended?
You know, Zoe, I think these guys, it's not an easy position to learn and just adapt to so quickly. I think the Patriots ask an awful lot out of their receivers and their slot receivers in particular. So Riley McCarron, Braxton Berrios, I think we'll see a little bit of those guys in the second half, but still a long way to go for both of them.
And Berrios on the kickoff return. It's outside the 15. And he is stopped there, and Brian Hoyer played the first half of the Patriots, takes over again. And, you know, one thing about Austin Carr last year, Zoe, he didn't play special teams. Both Berrios and McCarron try to earn a place in that wide receiver group as potential slot guy, at least have that ability in the return game.
Here comes Hoyer.
And we see McCarron there lined up.
And I'm not surprised by this based on it. Oh, wow, Cordero Patterson in the game also. I think Coach Belichick's not happy about the offensive not having the ability to move the football early.
Hoyer's going to throw to Ryan Izzo, the tight end, draft choice out of Florida State. Makes the catch on that ball slightly behind him.
I think that ball was tipped coming out. Still made a catch. These are even more different looking helmets than they were in years past. You know, they're doing away with the Brady helmet. Just the traditional, you know, round Riddell helmet. Advancements in the game, padding.
Again, all in the name of player safety. Off the play fake. Will Tide makes the grab. The former Giant brought down.
I think Tom is the only one wearing that helmet in the NFL right now.
And there's a 2-year window for him. It's this year and next year, and that's it.
I think that original Rydell that he wears, nobody wears that. Nobody. I never wore it.
Some brands have come and gone. Like, is the Zenith brand still available?
I mean, do you remember those old bike helmets and they had
I wore them. I love them.
Those are like cork.
Loved them.
Jeremy Hill a bit confused, trying to get lined up. Hoyer directs before a 3rd and 3.
Got him.
Hoyer looked to Patterson before he throws for time. It's, in fact, caught by Patterson. So Cordero Patterson, who drew the initial glance, does make the grab. Ty was coming over as well for the Patriots, and it's a first down completion worth 19 yards.
Seems like he forced this one to me, but I tell you what, Cordero Patterson, keep making plays. This is what he's done all preseason. Hoyer steps up, feels the pressure coming from the back. That's a nice pocket to begin with. I think he was trying to get the ball to Ty, and Patterson made a play on it.
That's the Patriots' first 3rd down conversion. Good jump cut once again. The run by Jeremy Hill for 3.
Good stuff from Hill tonight here. I know it's not a ton of yards, but you see why he's been in the league.
He's a big back too. I mean, he's got some size to him with that explosion. It's tough to bring him down.
Right?
They need that. I'm telling you, he's a guy that he runs hard.
And he's a guy who produced 29 touchdowns in his first 3 seasons. 9 touchdowns, 11 rushing touchdowns, 9 more. Last year again, hampered by an ankle injury. Hoyer with a quick set. Had a throw caught by Lucien. That's his 3rd grab from Brian Hoyer since the final seconds of the opening half.
Keep making plays, Lucien, too. I mean, it's tough to make this club when you're in a tug and you're often injured. You know, you heard so much about Kenny Britt and the strides he made in the offseason. And you get into the OTAs and the passing sessions. And then one of the last plays of minicamp, he pulls up with a hamstring. And we've yet to see him.
It's 3rd and short. The rookie Poggi leads the way for Hill. And that's a first down run for the Patriots. At Washington's 46.
Take a look at the fullback play here. Leading up inside. And see, he ducked his head. How do you not call that? Like, it's going to be tough with this call. See, I think that's a good block by the fullback. It's a nice job following him up inside.
Henry Poggi out of Michigan, recently signed by the Pats. Another give to Hill. Again, running behind Poggi, tripped up. He rolls across the 40.
Runs hard. Runs hard, Bob.
That was almost a big play right there if he would have kept his feet.
There's nobody back there.
Nope. That's a score. He stays on his feet.
Inked a 1-year deal. Former teammate, of course, of Rex Burkhead, reunited. Burkhead got a 3-year contract to come back to Foxborough. Now it's Gillislee. And he can't get outside. He is twisted to the boundary.
Poggi again.
Poggi getting the reps at fullback.
They're staying tight. Yeah, they're staying with the same formation here. It looks like they're going to keep pounding it. Now, why do you ask? Well, why do they do this? Why are you running the ball? They're trying to take a look at different running backs with different line combinations to see if they can block in the running game. Can you read off the blocks?
Another 3rd and short, this time for 2 out of the eye. Gillislee can't pick up the first down.
The fullback went outside. He cut inside. Poggi goes right around left end. The idea of the power game and the running game, here's your fullback. He's going this way. Stay outside with him. The block would have happened right there off the edge. Poggi would have been leading up outside.
Yeah, he should have kept going to the outside there.
See, that's a tough angle there because it looks like, okay, that guy got blown up. No.
They want to go for it here, too. They want to see the toughness of these guys right now.
Remember, they had a problem trying to pick up
short
yardage situations in the opener last year against Kansas City. And now Gillislee squeezes through the conversion here on 4th and short against Washington.
Let's take a look at it from behind. See, Poggi goes to the left. It's a good job reading the blocks right there. It lowers the head down. It squeezes right up through at a weak side hold to the left.
Good work by Cole Croston, back for his 2nd year as a Patriot. Made the team last year, of course, an undrafted free agent out of Iowa. Pats on the move, down by 14, with McCarron in motion. From the 2 tight end set. Another run for Gillislee.
So that's a good job. It's a good job by Hoyer managing different bodies in there with him. So he gets up under center. He flips his heel. You know, Riley doesn't see it, doesn't go in motion. He has to put the hand up, give him the hand motion. And as he's crossing behind Hoyer, Hoyer tells him all the way out, all the way out. So you just operate the game.
Second and 10 with Patterson to the left and Karen lined up and again out of the eye. This time Hoyer to throw.
Ooh, who blocked that guy?
Comes back in the flat for Poggi. Slips a tackle.
It was a great block by Hill.
Can you give me a Jeremy Hill replay on that, please, Booth?
Yeah, you got the back
coming
up
man,
in there.
he
got him.
Stunned him.
It was a great block.
Jeremy Hill.
51.
He's right at the top of your screen here. Watch his block to the left side.
Boom.
Boom.
Got him.
Stuns him. Knocks him right on his rear. Need more of that.
It's a great block.
Run well and block hard. Will make this football team.
Now the 3rd down and 8. Patriots with the 2 backs split from the gun.
Hill.
Hoyer finding Hill. Good move with a stiff arm to follow and a first down as well.
I'd say 33 is a positive thing going for you tonight. Taking himself out of the game.
Jeremy Hill picks up 12.
That's what you got to do out in the flat. That's something a guy like Hollister is going to have to learn to do. You're going to get a lot of those chip routes, those flat routes. Make the first guy miss. Get up to that second level. Never let that first guy tackle you.
Gillislee churning with the rush inside the 15.
Those are tough plays to make, you know, when you're a linebacker and you're in space and they dump it to that back. It's not easy.
Are you flowing one way and now you've got a reverse direction, Rob?
Hey, Nick.
Yeah, it's tough.
When I started calling games, I'll never forget the game against the Jets. You were in coverage out in the flat, and the LT, LaDainian Tomlinson got the ball.
Yeah.
I think he almost broke your ankles.
No, I don't.
And I don't know what you learned after that.
Well, you know,
were so damn good after that. I'm like, this is never going to work with this guy in coverage.
Well, you know where your help is. So if I have inside leverage, get him outside. If I have outside help, I'll stay inside.
It's funny how you remember plays, you know, bad one early in your career. Not to say it's a bad one for you, but like a guy like Kevin Falk against Green Bay many, many years ago. Ball was thrown to him and he left it on the ground. It was lateral and they ended up recovering it. Bill chewed his tail out. And never again would Kevin make that second mistake.
See, you know, when if LT makes you miss,
Yeah,
you know, I don't feel too bad.
Right.
You know, because there's safeties and corners that miss just as bad.
Gillislee again on the give, and he gets stuffed on the run up the middle. Yeah, he's made a lot of great players miss in the open field.
Go for it. I'm rooting for overtime. Yeah.
So another chance for the Patriots.
Inside run.
On a 4th and 1. Again from the eye with the 2 tight ends. Gillislee behind Poggi. Another first down conversion. Pats have it a goal to go just outside the 5.
That's what you do. Brady likes it. Look at Brady up cheering. Poggi's getting some run here, man. Lowers the boom. Gillislee with a little jumps up inside.
Brady likes it.
Knocked down.
And we know our buddy downstairs, Andy Hart, loves it. Poggi about to be his 3rd favorite player. He's got an affinity for the fullback.
Does Hart have a neck roll at home?
Tight end.
He does.
I think he takes it off when we go to him down in the studio.
I swear to God, I think he has one from when he played.
Now it's Hill up the middle with the lead. Did he get in? I'm going to say he was stopped just short. Second goal to go.
This is good for Dante Scarnecchia and the offensive line. And right there, I mean, that's just good vision. Ooh, where did he? The ball crosses the plane. He's in.
I think that's a touchdown right there.
Should be a touchdown.
Here we go. There's a good angle.
Patriots are going to snap it. Hill's going to carry it again. This way. Here we go. He is in. Twisting his way to a Patriots touchdown.
Good second effort. give off left tackle. That linebacker had a shot at him. He ducked his head. Keep your eyes up. He may make this tackle. 51. It's good effort. Good effort by Hill.
And that's a play that
will go to review.
May merit another look. Brad Allen waiting for the cue from the replay official, Jim Lapatina. We thought Hill got in on the previous play.
Well, hands to the face right there on Poggi, too.
In this case, with the ball in his right hand resting on his chest.
Redskins get away with
down.
I thought he was in more on the prior.
Yeah, I would agree. But there may not be enough evidence
right to overturn
it.
The
This could be another
call.
Call stands.
Yeah, they can't overturn that. That's a touchdown. Because you don't know where his back touches and where the ball's at.
So Lapatina says play on to Allen, and Gostkowski comes out. It will be Ryan Allen once again to hold for the Patriots. So a field goal to end the second quarter. A touchdown to start the third, followed by the Gostkowski point after. Good work. Blocking and running by Jeremy Hill. Now here in Foxborough, you know Tom Brady loves seeing his good friend Julian Edelman back in uniform, enjoying this preseason opener from the sideline. And it's great to see Edelman coming off the torn ACL a year ago. They watched Jeremy Hill and the Patriots just engineer a 19-play scoring drive worth 84 yards in 10 minutes and 16 seconds. Longest drive in regular season history for the Pats. Cover 19 plays.
I think Brady was thanking Edelman for signing that 12-foot birthday card that was out there for the fans all sign. That cake. I wonder what Jules got him for his birthday.
Well, Gronk faced the question from the media what he would give Brady. I think Tom would take 90 catches and a 1,000-yard season once again from Julian Edelman. And Marshall's going to run it out for the Redskins. And he's going to get stopped with a flag on the play. Paul Turner, Marquise Flowers downfield for the Patriots.
Didn't look like a block in the back. I mean, it was thrown. I think Webb was in the area.
Joe Judge back on the sideline for the Pats as the special teams coordinator.
During return, holding, receiving team number 33, half the distance to the goal. First down, timeout.
So do we go to a timeout?
Boston.
Foxborough with a good look at Boston in the 17-10 preseason opener.
That's the hard work right here now. Well, that's the fault, Bill.
All right, hey, just fall back on the little details, which has been some that have been good.
Let's go now.
Just fall back on the little details, okay?
Run force, all right, and tackling.
Sounds of the game, and nothing gets lost in translation from Bill Belichick on the sideline.
Brian Belichick, Chad O'Shea mixed in there talking to receivers. And
Nick Caley as well.
And then Coach, I mean, that's what he does. This is still preseason game number one. A lot of head coaches in this league will be up on the white right there on the sideline, sort of with the arms crossed. And there's that guy in a defensive huddle with the 3s and 4s telling him what to do.
How many
Watch
times?
Hard Knocks the other night? I did. I host a talk show with Mark Bertrand. I've been doing it for a while on 98.5 The Sports Up for 4 hours. And we take disgruntled callers and people that are angry about this, that, or other with the Patriots. Watch Hard Knocks and watch the condition the Cleveland Browns are led in with Hugh Jackson.
They're in trouble.
And you'd be lucky, so lucky to be here.
We've got an injured player. Tyler Catalina gets the medical attention as we head to a timeout.
quick look here at Tyler Catalina. He's your left guard for the Redskins. You watch his hip on his left side. Gets hit right there. And it's either the hip or the leg. But he did walk off under his own power. So good news. Tough little break right there for him.
Tyler Catalina from Holden, Mass, out of Wachusett High, went to Rhode Island before transferring as a grad student to Georgia. Hogan under pressure. A flag thrown. The pass in the flat. Gino Grissom with the force out. Good work as well by Jamal Wiltz coming up for the Patriots.
It's another holding call there.
Yep. On the backside.
It's coming back.
Brad Allen.
Illegal use of the hands to the face, number 67, offense. That penalty is half the distance to the goal. Still second down.
Not a good night for Callis. That's his third penalty of the evening.
Second and long, you look for like a back on track type of play, something to get him back in a manageable third down. Screen or draw or something like that.
Couldn't see it. Got the wave going here. One of the most annoying things in sports.
Turning back the clock as the wave rolls around Gillette Stadium.
Do slow motion, then get it going faster. Then reverse that thing.
Now the 2nd and 18.
I'd probably do it, though.
P. Ryan.
If I was here with my kids, I'd probably do the wave.
Well, I was way off.
There's a good shot at it.
I think you go back to the mid-'80s when the wave started rolling around stadiums.
Bob, we got to do it when it comes around. Whoa, there it is right there. Nice.
Third and long. Let's see what they got here.
The shell coverage.
Got the Patriots with Bentley coming as a linebacker up the middle.
Screen.
Dump off on the screen to Bibbs. Pretty Bibbs down with the Patriots swarming to the football.
So its mouthpiece got knocked out.
Eddie Pleasant, the former Texan, among the tacklers for New England.
Pleasant's getting a lot of run, Bob, at camp. We're watching him a lot. They kick him outside, they kick him inside. Nickel situations with Group 1. Kick him back to safety a little bit. Jack of all trades.
He's a good special teams player as well.
Yep, find a way to contribute there, too. All right, let's see what this kid has.
Berrios, the rookie out of Miami, waiting on the Tressway punt.
Come on, kid.
Braxton Berrios will return. Slips a hit and heads across the 30-yard line.
Good positive game.
Just over 2 minutes left in the third. Redskins 17, Patriots 10. In this preseason opener,
hold on, we got a flag
another
here.
Marker on the turf here at Gillette.
Yeah, everybody freeze.
Brad Allen, our fifth-year referee.
Kick, holding number 26 of the receiving team. That penalty is administered 10 yards from the end of the kick. First down. Timeout.
Well, off cue per usual. Say a guy's a good special teams player, he gets called for a penalty. Who is Isaiah Wynn?
Hey, it's Coach Belichick. How you doing? Congratulations. We're going to make you a New England Patriot.
You heard about me, there's some word about me, like, woo.
A product of St. Petersburg, Florida, Wynn was a four-year starter at football powerhouse Lakewood High. A highly touted prospect, Isaiah spent 4 years at Georgia competing against the SEC's best. Wynn displayed his versatility by playing both guard and tackle. After reaching the College Football Playoff Championship, Wynn received first-team All-SEC and second-team AP All-American honors. Wynn uses his Twitter account to share motivational quotes and pictures of his dog, Nino. Welcome to New England, Isaiah. Isaiah Wynn, Patriots' first pick in this year's draft, number 23 overall out of Georgia, as you know. Yet to see him tonight in this preseason opener zone.
Night off.
One of the two Georgia Bulldogs taken in the first round, of course, with Sony Michel now on the sideline for the Pats, injured as Hoyer gives to Hill.
What do you make of him not playing, Nink? Isaiah Wynn. This could be one of those. Mentioned guys like Crossan and company that ended up making his football team last year. He's first-round pick. He's not going anywhere. He's here. And I mean, they like him. They're just trying to get looks at guys. I mean, we shouldn't read into rotations.
No, not right now.
Playing time right now, right?
No, not at all. I mean, he could be battling through something that they don't want to put him out there in a bad position anyway. So
that's a good point.
These games, we've seen it time and time again. Somebody goes out there, goes down, and it's just not worth it. So give him a little time. He's got 3 more games, and they're running the ball well. I think they want to see who else can go out there and play.
The line right now with some good work there to open up a hole for Gillislee on a first down run for the Pats. Speaking of Georgia Bulldogs, sad to see with Malcolm Mitchell trying to battle back from his chronic knee problems after missing all of last year. A young man who shined for the Pats in Super Bowl 51.
Yeah, coach said he did everything he could do, and that's not a mental thing. That isn't meaning he doesn't understand what we want him to do. That means that's physical. It just didn't come together.
Ooh, chance to run for the rookie.
Nice.
Ralph Webb.
Nice run here.
We've seen Malcolm Mitchell, of course, make the impact off the field. His sentiments shared with Patriots fans across New England and beyond.
That's a tough one. That is one of the guys you drafted at that position. They've had such tough times drafting receivers. This kid's stuck, and he stepped up on the biggest stage.
Final half minute of this third quarter. Webb again with a rush.
You and I were calling that game, and they were down 18. Then they get it down 25, and we're like, they got nothing in the middle of the field. They muddied that middle of the field, and that's when Brady had to go to the outside, and it was Hogan and Mitchell to get that game back to being competitive late in the third, early in the fourth.
And speaking of the fourth, that's where we're headed in this preseason opener. The end of the third quarter in Foxborough. Redskins 17, Patriots 10. Back with more on the Pats preseason television network after these messages.
Patriots preseason football is brought to you by Gillette, the official shave of the New England Patriots. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Pepsi. This is the Pepsi for every Patriots fan. Pepsi, official soft drink of the Patriots.
Well, here at Gillette Stadium, football's returned to Foxborough tonight with the preseason opener between the Patriots and the Washington Redskins in Jeremy Hill. Before the eyes of Tom Brady, helping the Patriots come back to close within 7 after spotting the Redskins a 17-0 head start. As we go to the fourth, Hoyer trying to complete the comeback. Bryant moves up, buys time, and dumps it off, and then Webb is drilled.
Hoyer just lost his shoulder.
Ooh, welcome to the NFL moment for Ralph Webb as Hoyer went down in a heap as well.
He got drilled. Now, how's that not roughing compared to the hit Derek Rivers had? See Brady looking on concern.
Looking concerned from Tom Brady, absolutely.
This could be getting the wind knocked out of you, too. See, he steps up. There's the first wave. Feels that, and he just gets clobbered from the left side.
Pats have really struggled in the first half offensively, over 100 yards since halftime. They had a 19-play drive to get on the board to start the third quarter. Second down and 10. Hoyer throws it. Nice catch made by Izzo. Good throw as well.
It's a really good ball. Nice low outside, keep it in front of those guys. Cordero Patterson in the game here. He ran a slant at the top. It's going to be interesting to see, when you get to the regular season against the Jacksonvilles, the Houstons, and guys like Bouye and what they got, the type of corners that they have. How's he going to be able to adjust and fight through coverage? Because it looks really good against air right now.
Against the Webb, who's able to dive forward with a first down pickup. Ralph Webb, undrafted free agent, all-time leading rusher at Vanderbilt. Moving the sticks for the Patriots. We talked earlier about the offensive line, the makeup right now. You've got several guys that are kind of journeymen. Tobin, Belenko, John.
Yeah.
Guys have been around the NFL a bit. They're part of this combination with Teddy Karras getting a chance at center. First and 10 for Horn and company.
Going opposite the alert. Opposite the alert. There it is.
Give to Webb. Good work by him to break an ankle tackle and pick up 5+.
Good job by Nate. What's opposite the alert?
So
Explain
when
to
the
the
safety
fans.
comes over on the other side, they were running to that side where the safety came down to, so they alerted it, so that tells everybody to run it the other way. So that was originally going to the right, and then they ran it to the left.
So right there, and that's the safety right there at the top of your screen.
So he'll say alert, alert, and that means flip it.
Second down and 4 for the Patriots with McCarron again in motion. Another chance for Webb. Look behind the line, spins forward, avoids a loss.
We're going overtime, baby. I feel it. I feel it.
I'm ready. I've been there before.
Go for 2.
I didn't go out on defense, though.
Lucian
So
checking
you've-
back in for the Patriots.
You have played on in an overtime preseason game?
I was talking about the Super Bowl, but
Oh.
I mean, come on.
Just slightly more important.
I didn't play
to
on
that
defense, so they scored. And
Oh, excuse me.
I was jumping up and down like a little girl.
Hoyer, quick throw across the middle for time. And he fights his way forward to the first down completion.
That's an impressive catch given the collision.
Mm-hmm.
Ty's a guy, Bob. You were there. Here he is
Rob, you
right
were
here.
there too back in
Right here.
2015.
Quick little hitter inside. It's blitz.
Boom.
Perfectly timed. And again, the defender. You know, I talked about Jackson earlier in the game. As a defender, you got to fight your arm through that ball. You got to dislodge the football.
I was going to say, Nick, you played against Will Tye in the Meadowlands.
Oh.
Pretty
Killed
good
you
game for the
guys.
Giants. 5 catches against the Patriots.
Did he wear like number 45?
Yes, he was number 45. Absolutely. Toss sweep.
Oh, yeah.
See, now that's
Isn't that lowering the head?
That's a question for me. Like, how is that not lowering? Well, you're protecting the football. That's a running back move. You have to do that.
I need that replay there.
Well, they say if you're bracing for contact.
So look, here, as
He's
he comes
establishing
here,
contact.
Boom.
But
oh, that's
Yeah.
15 on offense.
So my question
That's
is
the way it's explained to me.
if
That's
the-
15.
if the
it's a linear position as well. Yeah.
puts the defender in a bad spot.
I agree. You're taking football plays away.
What do you jump on his back?
Hoyer lofts it for Patterson. Juggling catch, the kind of play he's made in training camp as he pulls it in with the defender Johnson on his back for 19 yards.
How have teams not used him at the receiver position? Like, what are you thinking if you're Minnesota? Guy elevates, the ball's poorly thrown to the inside, keeps it in play. He's done this the entire camp, as you said, Bob. It's one acrobatic catch after another.
He had only
I'd throw it up
31
to
catches a year ago with Oakland. Granted, they had a couple of receivers, Crabtree and
Take
Cooper,
a shot.
but
Throw it up to him.
give to Gillislee. Sheds a tackle. Can't break another.
I think we got a holding call.
Another flag on the play.
I think it's on 82. I see a lot from down here, you know? I'm right there, right in the action.
We got a brief shot of Dante Scarnecchia. He's been in the action for
During the
more than
run,
30 years.
illegal use of the hands, hands to the face, number 48, defense.
hands to the
5-yard penalty,
face.
automatic, first down.
See the replay.
That's Vontae Diggs. You look at Dante Scarnecchia, Patriots offensive line coach, 35th year in the NFL, 33rd with New England, recently turned 70. 70 years young in his case.
He's a good coach, man.
He's got a the guy swims like 5 miles a day.
Where's he swim?
They got a swim X inside, like a swimmer.
Where do they get a swim at?
With the Jets, it's in there. It's in the.
Shut up.
Yeah, it's nice. I used to go in there and just float.
Hoyer throws it in the flat. Izzo with his 3rd catch of the night. The tight end can't shake loose. So if you get up early enough at the team hotel on the road, you will see Dante Scarnecchia getting his lap work in early.
Are you serious?
Absolutely.
Man, I'm
Mexico
get my sleep.
City. There was
Get that
Scarbo back and forth.
time.
He eats.
Time delay.
He eats really, really well as well. You know,
he
eats
used
well.
to run a ton. He would run 12 miles a day.
I mean,
Just
he's
go out
that
and run.
swimmer every day, swimming.
Yeah.
And another marker with a couple of other flags to fall to the turf.
12 men on the field.
With an extra player out there.
18 of them, maybe 13.
And that one didn't go unnoticed by any official. So you mentioned earlier the name Gene Steratore. He's not the only referee to retire after last season. Of course, he worked Super Bowl 52. Ed Hockley Terry McCauley.
I'm shocked
Jeff
Ed
Triplett.
retired.
Big
all
arm.
retiring.
Big
There are
arm.
fouls by both
Used to wear
teams
the
on the
extra
play.
tight shirt.
Defense had 12 players. There is also holding by the offense, number 68. The penalties will offset. Replay, second down.
Wait a minute. How do you
See, I don't get that. Like,
how do you call holding off a quick snap where you
It's on
blew the
number
whistle?
64.
It doesn't, that doesn't make sense. If you have 12 guys, there shouldn't be a play for holding. I don't know. I don't get it.
Jerry Austin left ESPN to go to the Raiders.
I think he's the challenge guy.
He was here.
John Gruden.
He was working at both. It was like the crypt keeper. He's like, I don't know if they ever went to him. They kept him behind the curtain.
Give to Ralph Webb. Jeff Triplett, I mentioned, going into that role.
Yeah, I like Triplett. He's got Tony Correnti, Chatterjee.
Southern
out there in
cadence,
Denver.
Southern drawl.
Right.
Army.
Look at this here. You got Edelman. Go back to that shot there. Edelman, Decker, and Brady. That's some three good-looking dudes right there. And then you got Caveman in the back, Ebner.
Oh, come on, don't pick
That's
on
the
Nate.
rugby
Come
guy,
on,
man. He's a rugby guy. That's three smooth dudes right there.
Hoyer tosses
Let's
it
see some run.
to Webb to the end zone. Touchdown, Patriots!
This kid's got a little burst, too. Nice lead block, too. See Izzo right there. That's the key.
That's the down
Tight
block.
end.
Yeah, seal blocked on him.
Tight end from Florida State. Picked him up. And just seal it, spin it back inside. Let's get outside.
That's a 7th-round pick, blocking for the undrafted free agent who rushed for 32 touchdowns in his Vanderbilt career. Ralph Webb into the end zone in this preseason opener.
Crack toss.
Patriots aren't playing for overtime. Really midway through the
said you go for two if you score.
I know.
They're running the ball. Let's go. Let's see it.
From the offset eye. Hoyer. Rolls out, throws for Webb, makes the grab, in for 2.
Nice snag, kid. This is more impressive than a touchdown run. The ball's a little bit low behind him. He catches it, still has a wherewithal to get it over the plane of the goal line. Toss to the outside. Nice block by Izzo. Little misdirection, 2-point flip from Hoyer. Brady loves it.
Preseason opener in Gillette Stadium. Next week, we're back at it. Next game brought to you by Ace Ticket, where New England fans go for all tickets to their favorite events. Visit aceticket.com. Next Thursday, Patriots back at home is noted to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. And we'll have it for you starting at 7:30. Doug Peterson.
I still can't even
Eagles?
look at the Eagle logo. I want anything to do with green or cheesesteaks, any of that.
Still hard
I haven't
to
eaten a cheesesteak
digest.
I haven't eaten a cheesesteak since the Super Bowl.
I haven't watched Rocky since the Super Bowl.
I'll watch Rocky.
Touchback after the touchdown and 2-point play for Ralph Webb and the Pats to give them the 1-point lead. Rob Gronkowski and the Patriots in this preseason opener. Neither Gronk nor Tom Brady have played, but no doubt Tom likes what he's seen from Brian Hoyer in the offense. Last couple of possessions in particular, as the Patriots down 17-0 at one point, come back to take an 18-17 advantage. Defense forced its first 3-and-out in the last series for Kevin Hogan and the Redskins. A run by Capri Bibbs. Hey, we heard Rob Ninkovich tell us about Juwan Bentley out of Purdue earlier. Let's hear more about this young linebacker drafted by the Patriots from Paul Perillo and Andy Hart. Paul, your thoughts on 51 in blue?
Yeah, I got to give Rob Ninkovich an apology because he talked about him a little bit leading up. I thought it was a little bit of bias, being two Purdue guys, and he's showing up tonight. And I thought he was a little bit quiet during camp. I actually saw Christian Sam doing a whole lot more during some of the drills that we get to watch every day, but haven't seen much of Sam tonight. Bentley has shown up. He's much more athletic, plays better in space than I thought he would. He's shown up.
Hogan floats it out to a back.
It's funny you mention that, Paul. That was Sam, the middle linebacker, 44. They're going to throw a flag here for the helmet hit on Sam. He didn't see it coming, and he almost got cold-cocked from the right side. He actually did. It's going to be illegal, not on Sam, but somebody hit Sam illegally.
Bentley was taken in the 5th round. Sam in the 6th round out of Arizona State. And again, referee Brad Allen.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, illegal peel-back block, number 15, offense. That's a 15-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Simi Cobbs gets called for the Redskins.
Take a look right here, number 15, teeing him up.
It's a big shot right there. Those are the ones that just don't see him.
See, that one is more in the helmet than the Jordan Richards one. Like Jordan Richards, they didn't make contact with his helmet.
It's tough.
Hogan throws it incomplete. A little miscommunication there. Let's bring in Andy Hart. Andy, are you buying or selling as we take a look at our buy of the game, brought to you by CarMax, the official partner of the New England Patriots? Buying or selling Juwan Bentley?
Bob, I'm buying on Bentley after tonight. You know, I agree with Paul. I thought it was a little slow early in camp, but he's sort of a middle linebacker, so he's going to shine when the pads are on. It's live football. It's real football. And we've seen so many times over the years there's a specific position of need. This year, it's linebacker. What do? They go out and draft a couple guys consecutively with Bentley and then Sam. We saw it a year ago with Wise and Rivers. Back in the day, it was Grissom and Flowers. When they need to target a position, they need depth, they need playmakers, they do it. I think Bentley is a little more athletic than I gave him credit for, maybe a little bigger than a Landon Roberts, who's played a lot tonight. So he looks like he's going to be in the mix at a linebacker position that a lot of people think need the depth.
This young defense playing with a lot of energy, forcing the Redskins into another punt after Kidsey could not make the catch with both feet in bounds.
Yeah, get the 1 foot. That's a heck of a catch. Just had to find a way to tap that right toe down. And that's the thing with Bentley, man. If he could show them that I can cover a back or two here and there, that'll go a long way for him.
Riley McCarron with another opportunity on the punt by Tress Way. Pinned against the sideline. In fact, on the sideline. We head to another break midway through the 4th quarter of this preseason opener. Pats by 1. With a look at the rookie at QB coming up.
Welcome back, everybody. Here's our Pepsi close-up. How about running back Jeremy Hill? Take a look through his eyes, through his perspective, what he's running into. And I'll tell you what, he's getting it done. 11 rushes for 51 yards and 1 touchdown. Jeremy Hill putting on a show in the second half. And that's a good thing all the way around. Patriots up 18-17 in the 4th quarter. Guys, let's go back upstairs.
All right, Steve Byrne, thanks so much. Looking forward to seeing you on the 5th quarter show coming up. And now we get a chance to see Danny Etling, the rookie out of LSU, with his first rep at quarterback against the Webb, who's upended. Ball came free, down by contact, the ruling. Danny Etling, the Patriots draft choice in the 7th round out of LSU, started his collegiate career at Purdue. Transferred to Baton Rouge.
I don't know how you held onto the ball.
Look at Brian Hoyer's final numbers tonight. 16 of 23, 144 yards. So much of the damage done from the final series of the 2nd quarter on with a good catch by Lucien, shaking free with a run after the grab out to the 35.
Kids making plays tonight. Just keep stacking them up.
Got a couple of passes for 20 plus at the end of the first half. Picks up 18 here.
And that ball's thrown behind him. High into the inside. He's had a better night than Dorsett. But I know you're mixing and matching these, right? I mean, it's not which quarterback's playing with which or which receiver he's throwing to. You got to go by, or you're making plays on the ball. Got to make plays on the ball.
Bentley sailing one over Lucien there. One of the things we heard from Nick Caserio about Etling on draft night is that the Patriots really liked how he took care of the ball while in college. 27 touchdown passes at LSU, 7 interceptions in his collegiate career, 60% completion rate. And so what's he seeing out there tonight as a rookie in his first NFL experience?
Wide eyes.
Gives it to Webb.
Oh, man.
The middle he runs. And Ralph Webb continues a very productive fourth quarter at 8 rushes for 35 yards and a touchdown on the last drive. He just picked up 9 there.
I mean, you look at what Jeremy Hill did. You look at Webb, what Webb is doing here, late in this game. When it comes down to roster composition and how many backs you're keeping, makes it tough on a guy like Mike Gillisley.
That guy's quick. He's got some quick twitch. He's moving.
A little bit. You know what? It reminds you a little of Deion Lewis size-wise, you know?
Yep.
I want to get to a point after this play with another give to Webb, who squeezes through for a first down run. Rob, he came out of Vanderbilt undrafted, and the knock on him is that maybe he didn't have the speed and perhaps was limited in the passing game. We saw him make a nice catch on that 2-point run, and you mentioned he's quick. Tell us the difference between game speed and simply running in a straight line, the 40-yard dash.
Honestly, a 40-yard dash really doesn't mean anything. You know, it's how you play on the field. I mean, do you have that ability to make a guy miss in space? I mean, he just has that quick, sudden burst movement. And I think you heard Zoe talk about Hill, how he's got that burst. As a running back, you got to have a burst. If you don't have the burst, you can run a 4.2, but if you don't have a burst, you'll never survive as a running back in the league.
That's a nice ball right there by Etling. And McCarron's got to come up with that.
That's Etling sliding up in the pocket too, Zoe.
Yeah, Etling does a nice job. He's mechanically right over the top, sticks it right in the middle. And you got to get your hands away from your body. Let the ball come in. Anytime that's the scariest thing about receivers, that we're coaches or GMs or personnel guys to look at it. Does the guy allow the ball to hit your pads first? Catch the ball in your hands. You want receivers that pluck it.
High snap, Etling brings it down. And on the exchange, the Patriots are going to lose it.
It's a bad exchange. I think Etling knew it too because he looked back.
So
if it's not clean, you got to stop and come back and get on that ball.
So you talk about somebody that plucked it. We just lost a guy with the knees that could pluck that ball right out of the air. He had hands.
Mitchell.
Mitchell's hands were insane for plucking that ball.
He had Gronk hands.
Gronk hands, and he wasn't very big.
The big white gloves he played with. This is
when he'd catch the ball, you'd hear just that his fingers just grab onto that ball. It's pretty impressive.
See, and to your point, so when you hear McCarron a lot of times in practice catch the ball, you hear the pop of the pads.
You don't want that.
Going back to the last play, the fumble recovered by Tim Settle. Luke Bowenko with a high snap, and Etling, of course, unable to complete the exchange with Webb, and now the Redskins trying to take advantage as Sam gets in on the act defensively for the Patriots.
You know, back to hitting the pads, that's one of Bill's pet peeves, is when a ball's coming and you hit it in your pads, because that's a lot of interceptions, turnovers happen that way. Ball pops up in the air. The defender makes a good play on the ball once it pops up in the air like that.
Yeah, you love, as a defender, you love playing against those guys.
Those are the easy ones.
Yep.
You know, they just drop right in your hands.
Under 5 minutes to go here in the fourth. A 1-point lead for the Patriots in this preseason opener. Early movement by more than one Redskin on that left side. We hear once again from Brad Allen.
Offense, number 60. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Now time to hear from Zoe. Thanks to social media and you. Zoe, as we check the Twitter timeline, did you see anything that stood out from Edelman or Hightower?
Oh, yeah, Hightower tonight. Very impressive, especially up on the edge, getting good leverage, pressure. I think he's going to be a great fit and as the additions of this front seven start to finalize itself. Edelman, 16 snaps I think he had, no targets. So you're just trying to get his football legs back. He's got a long way to go. Hightower looks good, though.
High looks big. High looks strong right now.
Yeah. All right, one down. Move on to another, Zoe.
And a foghorn.
Oh,
good question. Who's my favorite receiver? Well, I loved Frank Wycheck when I was at Maryland. We innovated the H-back offense, and he was catching like 11 balls a game as a true freshman. But I'm telling you, when things were right and when his head was right, Terry Glenn was the best receiver I ever played with.
Trent Harris knocks the ball free, picked up by Grissom. Gino Grissom has the scoop, running for the score. He's caught as he rolls to the goal line for the Patriots.
I don't know what.
First by Trent Harris, the rookie free agent out of Miami, getting to the quarterback with a strip sack.
Ryan Lewis is running down the field with his hands up, trying to keep pace with Grissom to get on TV in a Jumbotron, and you got a guy tracking him from the right side. If Ryan Lewis turns around the block, this is an easy touchdown. Here's your strip from the right side, ball's out. Here comes Grissom, he's running. Here comes Ryan Lewis, he's got number 1 up, and then he finds this guy that gets in front of him. Oh, they're gonna have a field day in the meeting rooms tomorrow with this one. Strip, ball's out, score, go. Turn around and look for somebody. See, I mean, all you gotta do is not even block him, just get in his way, and it's an easy touchdown.
Nothing like when a tackle slides down and you're free, right to the quarterback.
Nick, you've been in those meetings. What's Bill gonna do tomorrow?
Oh, he's gonna rip him, a new one. Say, what are you doing? Block the guy, block somebody, you know? Would have been a touchdown.
Patriots again with Webb as the tail of the tandem takes the handoff with a dive to the end zone. Ralph Webb
and get in
for his second score of the night is denied.
Get ball up, man. Just break that plane. See, little things like that can be the difference. Say this game's tighter. You're down 6, and you're trying to score a touchdown late in the game, take the lead, and say they get a goal line stand here. Like that play would lose the game for them.
And the Patriots line up heavy on the left. The handoff to Webb, slashing through in for a second touchdown of the night.
I like this Webb kid. He reminds me a little bit of Dion Lewis. Boy, to think what they have. James White, Rex Burkhead. Saw Jeremy Hill run hard tonight. He gets denied on the first crack. Take a look at this one here where he does get in. Everybody commits inside. Everybody ducking their heads on defense.
Not used to contact.
And again, the Patriots line up for 2 with Izzo in motion. Webb stays on behind Etley. A toss, running to the left, and into the end zone. Have yourself a night, Ralph Webb.
Kid's making himself a case to be on his football team. That's how you open eyes.
That's 16 points for the Patriots. From number 22.
Ooh, Izzo again with another good sill block. Sent a cheesecake to the tight ends coach for this one. Tight ends tonight, great job blocking all night long. Just staying in front, all about spacing, leverage.
And we're going to get to the tight end position more and more as this preseason unwinds, though. But the Patriots have had Dwayne Allen, good blocker, not much of a factor in the passing game last year. We know Hollister's caught the ball well for this team. Izzo, a guy who's known coming out of Florida State as a good blocking tight end.
Yeah.
He's caught 3 passes tonight. You've noted him several times.
Yeah, and I mean,
his work.
Just keep doing that too. It's just tough to think they keep 4 tight ends. And then it's like, how many special teams core units are you on? Rob, you know what that's like, man. I mean, if you're ever going to be a bubble guy, if you're one of those they're keeping 8 out of these last 13 guys. Which ones play special teams? All right, let's take a look at what you have right now at the receiver position. Obviously, this guy's good. You're going to have this guy. He's out the first 4 games. Hogan's a lock, right? I mean, we look at Cordero Patterson, excuse me. He's here. All these other guys. Up for grabs. Up for grabs. Let's go down to Paul and Andy. Add something to that. I mean, Dorsett dropped his only opportunity tonight.
Well, I mean, I think that's a little bit of a stretch, though. The ball was about 5 yards out of bounds. But Dorsett is a guy
No, the one over the middle. Hoyer threw one to him on an in-cut.
I don't remember Dorsett dropping. I'll take your word. I think he's a guy who's had a good camp. I mean, I think he's been last year we saw him go a lot down the field. It was outside for the most part. He was running a lot of go routes, didn't get a lot of opportunities, but when he did get them, he generally capitalized on them. This summer, I've seen him work in the slot a lot. We see when there's special teams periods going on, he's with Brady and Gronk and some of the other guys, James White. They're overworking on the side, so they clearly have some expectations for Philip Dorsett. I don't know exactly what they have in him. I don't know how good he is. He's had some ups and downs. I agree with you, Zoe. There have been times that he's struggled to make the catch on plays that I thought that were there to be made. But I think he's a guy that's probably in, at least initially, with Edelman out.
And you talk about flash plays. Nick brought it up earlier. Trent Harris with another right there, knifing through, penetrating. He had the strip sack in the last series for the Redskins. Makes the tackle there for loss.
See, in the third and fourth quarter, you're going against third-string guys, so you got to make plays. So you got to continuously beat this tackle every play.
Well, the Patriots get to the quarterback, and Eric Lee, who finished the season with New England a year ago, along with Nicholas Grigsby, in on the sack of Hogan, collaborating back at the 45.
Yeah, the thing that's impressive about this is the point where the quarterback stops right here. And the ends all night for New England. When they've gotten it upfield, we highlighted Derek Rivers earlier in this game. If you're being blocked, you still get back downhill towards the quarterback.
And Hogan connecting along the sideline to Flanagan.
See, Pleasant's got to knock that ball out. Inside right hand. Find a way to get to that ball.
That play Lee made right there, that's the stuff you got to see. You got to make those tackles turnstiles.
We've reached the 2-minute warning. Our thanks once again to Paul Perillo and Andy Hart.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, it was fun. I had a good time.
Great rest of the night. We will see you and talk to you again next week. Started tonight for the Patriots at quarterback, and before he was finished, he led them on our drive of the game, brought to you by Toyota Tundra.
Whoa, that's it, truck coming.
Gerald Patterson, nice sensational play. And the rookie Ralph Webb, high stepping for the touchdown before he reaches low for the 2-point conversion. Hoyer overall 16 of 23 in the second half, 10 for 11, 79 yards.
Did what he had to do with the football team when they were down. Had to establish some sort of a rhythm. I thought it was big, the 2 catches to Lucien before the end of the half. At least get you a field goal to say, you know what, we're throwing you back out there to start the third when you get enough out of you.
Brian Hoyer, well traveled, as we've noted. Back in 2009, he came to Patriots training camp trying to earn a spot as an undrafted free agent and outplayed Kevin O'Connell for the backup job. And O'Connell now in coaching for the Redskins, looking on as Dustin Hopkins tries to convert from 56 yards out. He hit from 52 earlier.
No!
And he misses here off the upright.
That thing was really going left, and it actually came back in. He had the distance.
In his regular season career, almost automatic from inside of 40, but from long range, 5 for 13. Now with 1:55 to go in this preseason opener, Danny Etling will preside over the Patriots offense, the rookie quarterback out of LSU. With Ralph Webb making quite an impression tonight. Lined up at running back. The Patriots calling the timeout.
Let's do some more Twitter stuff, Bob.
Why don't we? Let's go back to the Twitter timeline zone.
Oh.
It's for Rob Ninkovich. Rob, how do you keep your beard so nice and tight?
I go to Gus and Donna's in Norwood. I go see my guy Mike, and he gets it all nice and trimmed up, lines it up.
Nice.
Fades me up. Does a great job. Go check him out. I'm there every Friday.
It's like chia hair.
Oh, it's nice. Yeah, just throw a little Miracle Grow on there.
Beard looks good. So does the hair on top as well.
That's all right. It's not bad.
Nice.
You know, you get the old spray paint can. You know.
What, GL7 or was that something like that?
Go see Dr. Leonard. Help me out.
Brian Hoyer into the huddle for the Patriots with a handoff as Etling had to depart. So what do you think happened right there? They had to call the timeout. And Etling, who at times in practice has shown, as you would expect, being a rookie, complicated offense.
Just situational coaching. Okay, we got a problem. Let's get out. Let's talk about it. Let's put him back in. Let's get his head on a swivel. I remember Parcells used to do this too, and I know Belichick did it. You know, towards the end of the first half, your starter's going in one of those big games. All of a sudden, he says, "Back up, let's go," just to keep you on your toes. So, like, hey, it could be any time you're thrust into the game. You're always one play away.
Etling with the throw, coming back to the ball to make the catch. Braxton Berrios. So, Rob, before the night is done, you know the feeling being out there yourself in uniform. What's it like on the sideline? How's it been tonight in your television debut?
I usually don't have a shirt tucked in this tight.
You know what? Hightower talked about them pants. Those babies were painted on.
Yeah, they're a little tight. I feel like they're football pants.
When you zip them up, do you have to lay down?
No, they're stretched. They got some spandex in there, so I could do a high kick right now and take an apple right off your head.
Nice.
Those shoes looking clean, too.
Oh, yeah,
nice
these are nice. These are from Mr. Sid. I'm telling you. Stu and Barry, they're the men.
Those are sweet.
Right there. Two guys.
I'll say this. Thank God that
what are you going to wear next week,
tonight.
Rob?
Field to stay dry, keeping those shoes dry.
Yeah.
Well, these dry. Well, usually when I was playing, I had a real big thing with my feet getting wet, so I used to use like a waterproof white tape, tape my shoestrings up, shoelaces. Because guess what? If you're running around with an extra 2 pounds in your feet, it's not good for speed. And I already.
We wondered if we would see.
Oh yeah, I got it right here.
But it is Ryan Allen once again to punt for the Patriots. And he drops it inside the 15 with the bounce out of play. Well done. So, Nick, you were saying?
So, yeah, if I was on the bench and it was raining a little bit, I just put this, I got this sweat rag in the back of I put it right on the front of my shoe, so when it was raining, no water go in my shoe.
Yeah, but it's a towel. It's wet.
No, but it absorbs the water, so you're not getting it, like, right in your shoe.
So it's like a chamois towel.
Yeah, it just absorbs. It's a Gatorade towel. Shout out Gatorade.
What would Coach say? Did Coach ever say anything?
He'd walk up and smile at me. He'd be like, "What are you like? Oh, I don't want your shoes to get wet, Rob." It'd be tragedy if your shoes got wet on a football field.
I guess that would qualify as a Ninkovich Gatorade key to this game.
We talked a few years ago. We were playing a team here, and there was like 3 inches of water on the field. It wasn't good.
That was Buffalo, right?
That's it.
All right, Rob, thank you, buddy.
Hey, Rob, a lot of fun tonight. Thanks so much for your insights.
All right, guys, take care.
Final seconds to elapse in this preseason opener. Number 19 for Bill Belichick as the head coach of the Pats. Stay tuned. Coming up, the Toyota post-game report, where we'll recap tonight's game. Back after this.
Patriots preseason football is brought to you by CarMax, official partner of the New England Patriots, and by JetBlue, proud to be Boston's favorite airline.